country. How can you be loyal to both Islam and the West?
How am I destroying this country?
By voting for it to become Sharia law.
How are we voting? Where is it on any ballot that, oh, do you want Sharia law? Yes.
McLovin, if you want to come back on the ballot in the UK and France,
France and the UK. France and the UK. France and the UK. How's that not treasonous?
Where do people vote for Sharia? Where do people vote for Sharia?
France and the UK.
Show me a ballot. France is literally voting between a right and a far right right now.
I know the UK is trying to get rid of you treasonous motherfuckers.
We're treasonous motherfuckers?
I live in the UK.
Yeah.
So wait a second. So when Nazi Germany and all the Europeans wanted to get rid of the Jews, can we apply the same logic?
Here you go. What about
Guys, it's a shit show.
Thank you. Must have been that Jewish norms were not compatible with European standards. That's why they wanted to get rid of them. So that's why they wanted.
Loyal Muslim says what?
40% of Muslims in the UK want Sharia law. That is
Yes.
Oh, now we know.
You wanting Sharia law, okay, and that's like saying.
Guys, can you please hold your horses and don't speak over each other? So anyone that speaks, don't speak more than, 30 seconds and a minute, and then just hold your horses, because when everybody speaks together, it's a shit show.
Okay, but it's only one marketer and a bunch of people piling up. So that's what it is. So again, I don't see.
Hold on.
Okay.
Don't start yelling again. McLovin, if you want to come back on stage, you need to press your PTR and choose accept invite to speak, because I cannot invite you anymore.
No, someone else.
I invited him.
Okay, Canadian people speak, please.
No, hold on. Again, there are people who are from other religions who believe that the jurisprudence of their religion should be applied. They believe that this is from God and that this is the ideal way of living life. But that doesn't mean that they believe that they...
David, shut up.
Let me finish. Again, but that doesn't mean that they believe it needs to be imposed on people that don't belong to so-called religion. That is not the case. In Islam, we don't believe that we need to impose Sharia on non-Muslims. We just simply apply Sharia to ourselves. We want to live in our own societies where we believe in Sharia. But nevertheless, that is not a lie. That is not a lie.
Can I ask a question, if you want to go to the pool, would you ask that the pool would be modest?
Let me land. Now, Daniel, that's like saying, oh, most Jews don't want to live in accordance to the Torah. Would you agree with that statement?
Most Jews are secular, yes.
No, I'm saying, so you said 50% or 30% of Muslims. Are you saying that there isn't 30% of Jews that that want to abide by the Torah?
What is that? Again, it's very different what you mean abide by the Torah.
How's it very different? How's it very different?
Because I will tell you, relax, Jew, I'm answering you. First of all, most Jews are secular. And you have the religious Jew, what you call the Orthodox Jews that you see wearing black. You see those that wear yarmulke. Different people and different, they have a different approach to the religion. So it's not the same to all Jews.
But all these Orthodox Jews, the practicing Jews, do they believe that they should adhere to the Torah?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, can you please give me a percentage of religious Jews, traditional Orthodox Jews in America or worldwide Jewry?
I guess it's like 0.001.
0.5? Really? You're gonna tell me only 0.5 of Jews want to? Is the ideal? Are you crazy, Daniel? Are you crazy?
I think that if you hold your back and you will let someone finish their sentences, then you will not jump into conclusion.
Stop getting triggered, bro. Stop getting. You sound.
No, I'm stop saying to everyone that. No, I didn't finish my sentence and you jumped. We were talking about the population, not about Jews, okay? But you're jumping because you're the one being triggered, so this is why you cannot hold your fucking mic unmuted before someone finishes a sentence. Because you want to be right, and you want to attack the Jews. But the Jews is not the topic here.
No, I am simply, because you guys are too stupid to understand, are you telling me that there isn't a large demographic of Jews who believe that the Torah is the ideal and that they should be living in accordance to the Torah? Is it yes or no, Daniel?
They live according to the
I know they live in accordance to the law of the land, but
And they don't change the law of the land.
Ideally, what do they want?
Actually, Daniel,
If-
do Jews have something called Torah law? Is it named Torah law? Like Shura law?
I never heard of Torah law.
Yeah,
We have like halacha.
Jewish law? Is there?
There's the halacha.
Yes.
There's the halacha. If this is what you meant.
Can people that have experienced Sharia law speak? I don't know.
No, Daniel was going to answer this question. Are you telling me there isn't a lot, there isn't 30% of Jews that believe that they should be ideally practicing the Torah, regardless of the law of the land? Ideally, if they had a choice, that they should practice the Torah.
But that's practicing the Torah.
To follow the laws of other lands.
No, I think it's silly, Daniel. You don't even have to respond to this, but I would tell you that a large percentage of Jews do believe ideally that they should be practicing halachic law.
Yeah, it's not contradictory. It's not
That you're making against Muslims that I wouldn't even say 30% of Muslims.
The point here is that Jewish law, if you want to call it like that, it's not opposite to Western law, secular Western
Are you
law.
insane?
Now, Muslim law, it is 100% opposite and contradictory.
Are you insane?
Well, yeah, I am insane.
You're practically insane.
Can you stop saying to people that they are stupid and insane? And like, can you just answer to the point and be respectful? So answer to the point. So but calling people, what you keep on saying, you keep insulting people that they are stupid, that they are insane, that they are crazy.
That is not an insult.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because you said as a friend, we're gonna talk nicely with one another, and I want to explain to my friend.
Please, can I this lady, I came up before her. Daniel, what's
It's
going on?
not parallel at all.
You're not in the West,
much
Cody.
Oh my God, Cynic, I'm gonna have to move you to the audience, dude, if you continue interrupting. Go ahead, Arshad.
Okay, I thought you meant me. Okay. Yeah, no, you could say that the Jewish or Talmudic law is much more comparable, not to what is the Western standard, but rather to the exact thing that the Western standard considers to be evil. We were talking a little bit earlier in the chat as well about the fact that it's much closer to even so much as pedophilia, if we just want to go over.
Which one?
Islam?
No, I think
No, not ban
Hold on.
Islam.
Don't interrupt her. Yeah, I think she's referring to Jewish law.
Yes, and I'm not saying that it's better or worse than Islamic law. I'm saying that it's much more comparable to what the Western standard is not.
Do you think? Do you think that Islam law, and I mean everything related to, for example, sorry, my English is a little bit gone, but anything, for example, about gender segregation, the intolerance towards LGBTQ, anything related to forced marriage, anything towards religion extremism, or how it's not allowed to speak against Islam and all of this, do you think that is compatible with how a Western world works?
So, no, of course not. I don't believe Islamic law at all is comparable to how the Western world works. But that's not to say that Talmudic or Judaic law is either. I mean, Judaic law, Talmudic law.
What do you mean by Talmudic law? Because we were talking about this earlier in the room. And hold on, Daniel. We were talking about this earlier in the room, and the Talmud, I'm sure that you know because I've spoken with you many times, and the Talmud is a collection of dialogue between the rabbis. They're discussing a lot of these ideas, in the Torah, whatever. It's not a law. It's just for people to inform themselves on what the ideas and what the discussions of the rabbis were.
Hold on, it's not that she's wrong. Hold on, you're right, but that doesn't make it something less by what Jews live by, right? Because who understands your religion more than the person who's been studying it their entire life? And so the point is, these rabbis who have been studying it their entire life have been enforcing their religion for their people their entire life, have been guiding a pathway, wrote a book about it, right? Because it was dialogue. They wrote about what they believe in, they wrote about their practices, they wrote about the way to handle certain situations. And to this day, if you want to follow Judaism the way that it was followed by the rabbis of the past, you refer to the Talmud. And considering the Talmud could have something possibly even worse to what is comparable to what you would find in, say, the Quran or Hadiths. For that reason, I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about how there is exception to, I hate to use these words, raping someone who is 9 years old and 9 years and 1 day old. And
so 3 years and 1 day. It was 3 years and 1 day.
Okay,
but
you know better.
Yeah, it's 3 years and 1 day, and the reason why I know about this is because we actually did one room on the Talmud, and I think it would be a good idea to do another one on this. And we went through each of these verses that were mentioned in a list actually provided by Prince, and we went one by one on them, and it was taken out of context in the conversation. Yes, it is written like that, but there is a whole dialogue going on. Hold on, there's a whole dialogue going on. And the rabbis are not always right. They actually are fighting with each other, going back and forth, saying yes to this, no, this is not.
Shut up!
And so when you take a whole dialogue and you just choose to take one sentence, I'm sure that you will agree with me that this is being very honest.
Hold on. It's not that I necessarily disagree with you.
Hold on, McLovin.
Why am I the only Christian not allowed to speak?
We just conceded that the only
Why am I the only Christian not allowed to
be
speak?
someone that studied it their entire lives like myself.
I'm a Catholic, you're a Catholic, everyone's allowed to
Yeah, you
speak.
guys are talking
You're silencing me
You're just
from the other sides of the
being very loud, dude. Hold on. Go ahead, 1 second.
Let me respond, and I'll pass it off. Okay. So it's not that you're wrong, right? There's a whole back and forth, but we need to look at the conclusion of the back and forth. What did they end up concluding? Is whatever justifies the actions of the Jew in favor. This is how it works, right? So, for example, me, I don't know so much about the raping and the this and that of any 3-year-old or whatever year old. I haven't honed in on anything like that. But whenever there are Talmud studying Jews that come into these rooms and they tell me that I deserve to be stoned for being curious about the Talmud and reading into it, and the conclusion
right now.
And the conclusion, Magzed, it wasn't you. And the conclusion.
I'm the only Orthodox Jew in the room.
I'm not talking about any Jews in the room.
He's not talking about you, dude.
And we're not talking
I'm
about
pretty
the
sure
only
you
Jew
said
in
at the
the room.
beginning that no one would know the religion better than someone that studied it from birth like me.
Okay, so go ahead and let me finish, because who I'm talking about is actually SGI. He happens to not be in the
finish
room.
talking about the thing you said you don't know better than I do.
Issa Magzed has interrupted me already.
You said ex-Jew?
Hold on, dude.
SGI.
She is not talking about anyone specific. She's saying
No,
that
I'm telling you who I'm
sometimes.
talking about. I just told you guys who I'm talking about. SGI came into a room and he said, because I'm curious about my studies on the Talmud, and because I have chosen to read from the Talmud, I deserve to be stoned according to the Talmud. And he gave me Sanhedrin 59a, and he told me that my fate, according to the Jewish belief, is that I should be stoned. Because the conclusion of Sanhedrin 59a tells me exactly that I do deserve to be stoned. Doesn't matter how much back and forth there is. So if you could please now refer to McLovin, because he was the first one to interrupt me, and I would love to go back to
So
him.
we're just going to pretend we understand Jewish law now while we silence the Orthodox Jew?
I'm sorry.
I don't know who this dude is. I don't know if you know him. I don't know who that is. I don't know that person that told her that. I really don't. I don't know who that is from us, but yeah, go ahead with what you were saying before, that yes, sometimes you have come into rooms and they have said that's the stone,
Yeah, that's it. That's what happened. Because he heard that I'm curious about Talmudic law, that I've read parts of the Talmud. He told me, in that conclusion, he said, go read Sanhedrin 59a. In Sanhedrin 59a, I read that a goyim, a non-Jew, a non-believer, needs to be stoned because they have stolen something precious from the Jewish people if they choose to read the Talmud. And I read all of Sanhedrin 59a, and I told him, I said, are you trying to tell me that I deserve to be stoned? And he said, yes, according to the Talmudic law, you
Never
as
heard the word
a
hearsay
before should be stoned because you are from the Talmud.
But listen, we cannot talk about something where we were not there, you know.
Yeah, it's called hearsay.
We need the whole context, you know. We don't know whether he was telling you that because you were reading Talmud or maybe because he thought that you were misinterpreting it on purpose or not. I don't know why he told you that. I don't know who this person is. You know?
Why don't you read it? You guys, I do have to leave.
Talking about Islam.
If you could read Sanhedrin 59a for us, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I have it here, and it says that it deals with the laws and provisions against idolatry, blasphemy, murder, sexual immorality, theft, eating the flesh of living animals, and the obligation to establish courts of justice. That's the reason why I say that. I don't know under what context he told you that. I don't know what the conversation was.
Did it ever happen though? Did it ever happen that someone was stoned?
It says a non-Jew, and
like guys, we're talking about stuff that...
It says one key excerpt often cited from Sanhedrin 59a is a non-Jew who engages in Torah study is considered like a high priest. So I'm not really sure about it.
The whole thing. You're not reading it. You're actually reading some sort of interpretation. I can read it for you. It literally says. I mean, come. Let's talk about this.
You read Hebrew, Al?
Sorry, I didn't see who was talking.
Saint Nigeria.
Al?
You let me know when I can respond to the original question, which I think
Go ahead.
No need to respond to that.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, the Muslims don't want me to speak?
No, I'm not Muslim. You know, I despise this.
Okay, I don't care. I know what I do.
Because Artak has to go, so let's...
You guys can make them talk about
exactly why we are discussing this.
But go on.
Okay, you guys maybe weren't paying attention, but the reason we were discussing this was I asked a Muslim to explain how he wasn't treasonous for pretending that he has committed himself to a country that his religious devotion obligates him to swear he will destroy and corrupt. Hey, I'm in the middle of a fight.
The interests of this country.
Okay, so here's how it goes. He said that the Jews also are treasonous because of their loyalty to the Torah, which he then brought this Gemara to try and prove that the Jews have more odious practices that aren't in line with the West. But the very simple fact is there's an old Jewish law, and it goes like this. Dina de Malchuta Dina. The judgment of the sovereign is the law. We follow the law by rule. That's why we become lawyers. We may not be treasonous to the countries that we are in. Now, can you explain how Islam is different?
Islam literally also has it in our jurisprudence that we're supposed to follow the law of the land. As long as it doesn't, in clear contrast, go against our religion or prevent us. Again, there's nothing that is going to be unique to Judaism that is positive, that's going to be somehow that we don't have. Like this guy, but I brought this up simply because as a response to Galilean who was talking about, she was trying to pull up some esoteric hadith. But here, in the Talmud, someone was saying, "Oh, this is just commentary." No, it's not just commentary. This is like the Mishnah is literally an oral tradition. It's the oral Torah. This is literally from God. That's what they believe. This is like Moses got a hard copy and then he got an oral copy. And this is oral copy has been transmitted, and that's what we have in the Mishnah. The Gemara, that's commentary, but nevertheless they're breaking down the Mishnah. They're breaking down the Mishnah. The Mishnah is the law. It is the law from God. It is not an opinion. It is law from God.
Write down the oral law. That is going to mixed up.
Yeah, oral law is the okay. Since Mekzet wants to be a smart ass, Mekzet wants to be a smart ass. Is the Mishnah the oral Torah?
Say one thing about Islam. You haven't said a single.
No. I want Mekzet to answer. Is the Mishnah the oral Torah?
The Mishnah is a record of the conclusions of the rabbis.
Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. You're lying to all these people right now.
So I have here.
Is that all you can do? Just accuse me of lies? I'm only you on the date. Really?
It says the Mishnah. There are different things. The Mishnah is a compilation of oral traditions and teachings that formed the foundation of Rabbinic Judaism. It was redacted by Rabbi Judah the Prince, Rabbi Jehuda Nanasi, around 200 CE. Now the Talmud is different. The Talmud is a comprehensive commentary and analysis of the Mishnah, along with discussions of various aspects of Jewish law. So it's not the same. And it deals with aspects of Jewish law, ethics, philosophy, customs, and history. So it's not just
I didn't say
from
the
the
Torah
Torah.
of the Talmud.
Can I say something really
It's
quickly?
an oral tradition dating back to Moses. The Mishnah,
For the past 30 minutes, we've been talking about Judaism and not
which is contained by the Talmud.
Please
This is
show me where
oral
Jews have
Torah.
gone
This
to other
as in when we
countries
say oral
Okay,
Torah.
hold on. So
You don't know
before we
shit
go
about
to Pepe,
Judaism and you lie
Yes,
about
I
it.
do.
No,
Yes, I do.
Germany,
You're literally a
Spain,
liberal, secular
Switzerland,
Jew. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
oh my God.
What's the score?
Before we go to Pepe, Artsak wanted to say something. Artsak, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to vouch for my friend here, McLovin. He's highly educated, and if you guys gave him a chance, he could start quoting scriptures. So just give him a chance. That's all I want.
I know McLovin, and I know McLovin, and I know that he knows a lot when it comes about to the
Islam is a
Bible and
religion
stuff.
killing people in my country. Please, let's talk
The
about
problem is that he has just been interrupting, and it's very difficult when we have Cynic yelling and like Zed yelling, and McLovin with his very deep voice as well. So it's very difficult.
But I don't know. Maybe if I became a Jew or a Muslim, I'd be able to interpret
I think
more.
Odi on
Just
one
your
speak.
voice, dude. It's
I
very
think Odi
deep.
on was trying to preach.
Odi, go ahead, and then McLovin.
Thank you very much. I know that anytime they talk about Islam, the Muslims will come up to talk about Judaism or Talmud. I don't give a fuck about Talmud.
Fact.
For example, I've been to 44 countries. I can list them for you. Australia, I don't see Jews going about town. When I was going to the University of Queensland, I don't see Jews going about town carrying things and shouting Sharia law. But I saw it in Australia. Oh, what is happening? When I went to Belgium, Belgium is even finished. Belgium, France. You saw there was a protest 2 days ago in France about Islam. Tell me, let's talk about the Muslim majority countries. Can me as a black African go to Dubai and do a protest? Definitely not. UAE, can I go to Oman? Definitely not. Can I go to Qatar? Definitely not. Can I go to Kuwait? Definitely not. Can I go to Bahrain? Definitely not. Now I'm talking about rich. Let's go to the other semi-liberal nations. I went to Malaysia. Can me as a black African Christian preach in Malaysia? Definitely not. So I ask these questions. The Muslim majority countries, how do other minorities, in quote, religious minorities live there? They live in fear. So again, I don't know when we talk about Islam, the Muslims come to talk. Your religion is violent. Now let's go to my home country. Oh, they said that they respect the laws. You have people in Nigeria who say they don't respect the constitution of Nigeria. Instead, they must follow the Sharia. Google this girl's name. Her name is Rebecca Samuels. She was stoned to death. Not only was she stoned to death, she was burnt by her classmates. Let me repeat again. These are not radical Islamists that burnt her. They were her classmates. Can you please shut up? Don't interrupt me.
It's Deborah Odi.
Prophet, please.
Odi is Deborah Alberman.
Deborah, sorry. What's her name? Deborah Samuel, sorry. Deborah. Google that name. These were not people on the street. They were born by classmates. And on this app and in real life, when they ask the Muslims, so-called liberal Muslims, what do you think of the opinion? Now let's ask a fundamental question. Even to you, the Jews, do you think that anybody should be killed because they blaspheme against your supposedly God? None of them. Let me repeat again. None of the Muslims came up and said they should. She said, well, we don't support jungle justice, but she should have been sent to the Sharia court. Again, let me repeat again. The Muslims tell you that Sharia is only for Muslims, but it's not true. If you go to the places that Sharia is being practiced, you will be tried under Sharia law. She was tried under Sharia law. They said, oh, she was sent to the Sharia court. And what is the punishment for blasphemy in Nigeria? Death. Now, let me tell you another story. Now, you can Google this girl. Her name is Rhonda Jatu. She complained. She's a Christian in a minority area in the north where the Muslims populate. She complained about how that girl was killed. They put her in prison. The DSS locked her in prison and she was being tried under Sharia. It took the work. Now, let me say something very, very clear here. And this to us, to me, Southern Christians who are just fickle-minded and afraid. It took the work of a white man in Switzerland to come and help that girl. The Nigerian pastors didn't say white man in Switzerland. They couldn't say shit. She was in prison for 11 months. Now that is Islam. So nobody should tell me bullshit about Islam. It is a foul, dangerous religion. Now let me go back to my own practice. While I don't identify as a Christian in America, because the American Christianity is stupid, white evangelicals are dumb because they worship Trump. If I was to say I go back to my roots as an Anglican, in quotes, me and McLaughlin have different opinions about that. And I want to make London my pilgrimage home because I follow the Church of England. We no longer follow the Church of England because the Church of England decided to endorse gay bishops and the Church of Nigeria refused. But let's even go into the Munisha. And I decided to go to London. Tell me, as a Anglican-loving Christian going to my pilgrimage home of London, how would I feel when I go to London now and see what the Muslims have done? Converting Sharia areas in Bradford and Birmingham, making Sharia sports in London. Is that not an insult to me as an Anglican who follows the Church of England, that my own pilgrimage home has been converted by infidels? In quotes, I use the word infidels because the reason why Christians can't go to Mecca is because the Muslims consider us infidels, and the punishment is sometimes death. So how would I feel? But again, the Muslims come to tell me that the Jews are the bad people. Let me list all the countries again and end with this. Go to all the countries in the West. Go to Germany. Go to Australia. Go to Georgia. Go to Belarus. I'm going to the country like it. There are big Jewish populations there. But you never hear them carry around and start disturbing people on the streets, blocking roads, making noise, fighting the police that they want to promote whatever. What did you call it again? What did you call it? Talmud law. But go to all the countries in the West. You see Muslims never respecting themselves with their vile pedophilic religion, disturbing the whole peace, telling the West, oh, my Sharia is better, my religion is better. Well, I hope you guys have learned your lesson. Let's talk to you first of all. You hold on, let me shut up your mouth, please.
Well, let you know when he's done.
Yeah, you need to demystify that word, Islamophobia. Cynic, please, can you not interrupt? You guys, first of all, need to demystify that word called Islamophobia. You guys have endorsed it.
Synthesize all the and
I'll be done in the next minute. You guys need to de-emphasize that word called Islamophobia. Muslims are not an oppressed group. They're not a race. There's a religion. You can insult the religion because religion is wicked and vile, led by a man who was so starved, claimed he saw visions, but he had epilepsy, whose only identity, if you read the hadith, was how to take women and rape them and compensate his soldiers for raping women, which is why Hamas does the same thing. The hadith is there. You are allowed to rape women you take as your slave, but those are the people, 2 billion people follow. A disgust of a religion. I'll put me back on the queue. Let me know what's
Can I say something really quickly? I just want to say something that's a little bit off topic, but there's been a terrorist attack in Russia, and they attacked a synagogue and churches, and a few Orthodox churches. They burnt down one of the synagogues and the church, and they killed a bunch of police officers, and it is Muslim terrorists. And that's happening now.
Do you have a link, Pepper, so I can post it?
Well, basically.
Wait, but I thought it was the religion of peace.
Shit.
What?
No, I thought that Muslim were the religion of peace. Was it done in the name of Islam, Pepper?
No, they're all. Yes. So this is in Dagestan, which is a majority Muslim, and they attacked churches there. All of them had beards. I mean, we know
it's ISIS basically.
So Dagestan and Chechnya have long been strongholds, and a lot of them did fight for the Taliban and so forth. So yeah, I mean it's on video. They're shooting.
No problem. Sure, it was mostly peaceful. No problem. Now, just to respond to Odie and even this right now, it's extremely curious. Yeah, not a problem. It's extremely curious. Are you guys gonna let me talk? Like, why can't you control yourself, you animal? Control yourself. Thank you. So again,
You're an animal, dude.
wow, it's extremely.
Who are you calling an animal?
It's quite a coincidence that all of a sudden we see an uptick in ISIS operations in Russia and Iran. All of a sudden, we don't see a single attack in the West. Not a single attack in the West. But now we're seeing attacks in Russia. And we're seeing attacks in Iran. it's just very interesting to me that we're seeing all these attacks in Dagestan and Chechnya and all that. We haven't seen a single attack in like over a decade.
Well, what is your conclusion?
No, I'm blaming it on Western intelligence. Everybody knows this. Like,
Why did they behead an Orthodox priest in Dagestan today?
One of the okay, let me finish. One of the crucial things about Russia is that they have a huge the tension.
You can do is cut off his head.
I'm sorry. If I want to destabilize Russia, what is the best thing to do? That's
they were part of the U.S. borders,
which is Chechnya.
So if we're not careful, we could see another one of these attacks by these motherfuckers before.
And if you're gonna talk like again, this is literally serving Western interests in destabilizing Russia. This is you should totally see this and call it for what it is. This is clearly
the white encouraged it.
Hey. It serves Western interests, does it not? It serves Western interests. So it's just a coincidence. So you guys, it's just a coincidence. It's just I'll deal with Odie. Listen, you guys let Odie talk. No one interrupted Odie. No one interrupted Odie. I would like the same courtesy.
Dude, maybe it is because of his attitude. You're
I know. Hey,
like
my ears, attitude.
Honestly, like my ears. Dude, honestly,
it doesn't matter our attitude. Just accommodate.
Mikael, I don't even dislike you, but dude, it's just like, can you just tone it down a little bit? Nobody's
just give me the time. Stop interrupting me.
Listen, when we were until you were on stage. We were having such a good back and forth.
You were having an echo chamber.
From Islam, from Jews, and from everywhere. So what? No, I don't want him to leave. But I just
okay, just give me the same time you gave Odie.
Just tone it a little bit.
Okay, no problem. You give me the same time. You give me the same time you gave Odie.
You've had.
You have way more time than
No, I did not. Not uninterrupted.
Yes,
you the way he had it. Uninterrupted.
Ooh, fucking.
Okay, thank you. Uninterrupted, please. So all of a sudden we're seeing these attacks in Iran and Russia, and just this is just a coincidence that, but we don't see a single attack in the West. That's one. So you should. We're in 2024. We're literally in 2024. If you guys don't pick up history books and understand that we have literally countries that perform false flags for the sake of destabilizing other countries, and especially as Americans, that you don't know that, you're living under a rock. I don't know what to tell you. Second of all, yes, there are false flags, and if you want to talk about false flags, we're about to get to it. Now, Odie brought up, Hamas and the rape. Find me one evidence in a single case. I can give you the New York Times came out where you had an IDF former soldier that infiltrated the New York Times and wrote an article about rape that was debunked, and now she's fired.
There is evidence, even by the UN and by testimony.
Interrupting.
A single person doesn't.
Interrupting. Do you have a former IDF soldier that infiltrated the New York Times and wrote an article that was later on debunked, and she was fired?
It wasn't debunked.
As it should be.
I will not let you gaslight rape victims. I'm sorry.
Relax.
Fuck you! No, bye-bye. I will move. Bye-bye.
Yeah, good.
So Cynic probably got that news from Syrian Girl on X, probably. You know what? I think it's crazy because he talked way more than Odian. The reason why we were respectful to him was because Odian waited to speak. He just didn't keep jumping in and keep yelling and keep whining about everybody in the room. That's why
Odie is not name calling or anything. He's just talking normally in a normal
way. Not calling people crazy and liars and all kinds of names and dogs and everything.
I think also McLovin wanted to say something. Did you?
Yes, I would.
My fellow Catholic.
Oh yes, my fellow Catholic. Unfortunately, I'm not your fellow Shabbos Goy, or fortunately. Look, I mean,
Muslims. It's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a bad thing, bro. To me, honestly.
I'm getting a lot of shekels after doing this room.
Yeah. No, it is a bad thing to be a Shabbos Goy.
It's not a bad thing.
I mean, 1 Thessalonians 2:14-16, it quite clearly lists who the enemies of all mankind are.
It's literally not a bad thing, but if you feel that, it makes sense.
My guy, I'm a traditionalist.
It is okay.
My guy, I'm a traditionalist Catholic, yeah. So I don't like it when you guys
if you feel that we are superior to you, it's not because of us. It may be
No, I don't think you are. I think you guys are superior in Satan worship and things like this. Maybe the Muslims can join.
He's supposed to be the smart one, this guy? He's supposed to be the smart one?
Am I allowed to speak yet? Or?
I don't know.
Can you minimize the hate speech to like a minimum as much as you
I haven't insulted anyone. I simply stated the theological opinions of the Catholic Church.
Are you able to focus on the topic without having?
Oh yes, if this guy doesn't interrupt me, yeah.
Hold on, because the thing is that you're just trying to be inflammatory, and this is not really going.
I'm really not trying to be inflammatory at all.
So, are you able to just focus on the point without having to make?
My bet is no.
Sir?
If they don't interrupt me, yeah.
Okay, try. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. No, Islam is completely incompatible with the West. That is a fact. I mean, we don't really have to waste time addressing it. You can go for the Quran. I mean, my favorite surah as a Christian, Surah Al-Tawbah, right? Find all the non-believers that they believe in Allah on His last day, or I guess in my lucky case, I get to live under religious taxation apartheid. Amazing, right? This is all true. Me, I don't have a problem with Islamophobia. It should probably be encouraged. My issue, though, what about the people that bring them here? The people that are always like, oh yeah, we want Muslims to take over the West. We want Muslims to take over Christian countries. That's half the mods in this room. I mean, I'm pretty much sticking to the topic, right? Me, I'm a Christian, so I already believe that basically all of you, that aren't me.
And according to you, who are the people bringing them to the West?
Oh, it's Jews. They state it openly. Jewish rabbis state that very openly.
How are the Jews?
Jewish rabbis state that extremely openly. Yes.
How are the Jews bringing Islam to the West? And how?
They always blame the Jews.
Where do you think
This is a composed question.
Immigration reform mainly comes from
The
Jewish
first part of the
lobbies.
question is who is bringing them, and so the second is like how is it that they're bringing them, and then how are they benefiting from it?
Okay, perfect. So we've already answered the first part. Now the question is how, or more specifically, why, right? So like Betty Adam just mentioned, like Betty Adam just mentioned, there's been a bunch of immigration reform in, for instance, America. In Europe, which I'm pretty sure most of you guys know, a lot of this immigration reform has been to take in low IQ, low income, low skilled people, predominantly from, Muslim countries like Morocco, Iraq, Syria, all these places, right? A lot of them in America, I forget the name of the organization, they literally actually stated that their whole reason for bringing these people here was so that, the white Christian majority would have someone else to basically, focus their ire on, because if they didn't have Abdul running around screaming kafir, right, they'd probably realize who's controlling their Federal Reserve. In Europe, they even go further. You have whole rabbis talking about how we need to destroy the Edomite civilization. The Talmud identifies Christianity in Rome as Edom, right? And the best people to do this are their, suspiciously only other believers in the one, false Hashem God, Muslims, who are their perfect Shabbos goys. So Jews have been kind of saying this openly for a while.
It's so weird. Me as a Jew, being a Jew all my life, never heard it. But thank you, McLaren, for.
Okay, I mean, you being. Can I finish speaking? I didn't make a comment on Judaism.
How are exactly the Jews benefiting? Well,
I just told
you. But you didn't answer how they're bringing them. You just.
I did through immigration reform that encourages immigration policies to favor. I just told you who encourages this immigration reform. Yes, Jewish lobbies that do this. Yeah, Pepe was a value-based Catholic. Like it's not a great secret. Like they publish this daily. It's no great secret that like
Who is publishing daily?
I'm about to tell you. Right? We see, for instance, on Capitol Hill, we're always talking about, we need to take in refugees from this country, refugees from Syria, refugees from Iraq, refugees from Morocco, refugees from blah, 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 right? A lot of those groups just so happen to be, relation with APAC, relation with ADL, blah, 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 blah. Like I said, I will happily bring them for you right now. But
the refugees in Syria has a connection to AIPAC. This is what you're saying. The refugees in Syria have
AIPAC. In fact, I was.
Can you give a source to what you're saying? Anything of what you said?
In fact, there is a whole Jewish Policy Institute, and I was talking about this with Benny Adams the other day. That was condemning some Americans of, I believe, Armenian origin for going and fighting ISIS in Syria. Basically declaring that, this is a national security threat. They were advocating at the same time that we should continue giving weapons and money to these noble Syrian rebels, who just so happen to be ISIS related. But then that's not really a surprise, because you guys currently are giving weapons and medical aid to Al-Qaeda.
Stay on the topic that you started.
No, but I'm saying on the topic. You just asked me.
You're
right?
talking about
I'm
ISIS.
staying very much on the topic.
I'm asking about the immigration laws, not about ISIS.
Yeah, yes. What about the immigration?
So you said that the Syrian refugees, you said that they have a connection to AIPAC?
As in, yes, AIPAC type lobbies encourage.
Can you show me how you got to this conclusion?
Because we see who controls different foreign policy lobbies on Washington and Capitol Hill. We see who dominates.
Can you show me? I don't see it. Can you show me how AIPAC?
Don't see.
Listen, you made the statement.
The biggest lobby.
You made the statement. One second, I'm not taking the mic from you.
You ask questions you don't want answers to, huh?
No, I want to finish the question. You said that the Jews. You said that the Jews changed the immigration laws in order to bring Muslims into the United States. So hold on. There will be another group that is hated and not the Jews. This is what I got from you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you show me source to this? Elaborate, like how you got to this conclusion?
I'm literally posting a link. It's actually the first that even comes. 1 second. 1 second. I'm gonna give you a link. This is about Jewish lobbies and their support for immigration. I'm gonna give you another one. So it's not
No, you made the connection. You said that the Jews changed the laws of immigration in order to bring Muslims into the United States. Because there's a big plan, so the Muslims will be fighting the Christians.
So here's another one that tracks historical positions.
No, another one. Can you stay on this topic that you started?
I'm sticking exactly on the topic. I'm saying here's another source that tracks the positions of Jewish lobbies on the immigration, particularly from poor Muslim countries, and it comes to this exact conclusion, that they are very, very much for the immigration of poor Muslims. Well, I'm not. I come from a Muslim majority country. I see what these people do daily. I was even correcting my brother Odie, right? On the poor woman Deborah that was killed. But you guys seem to really want them to follow me here. We have to ask why. Well, rabbis are given their interpretation, which I'll happily find you the video for. Oh, we need, was it Ishmael or whatever the fuck they call it to destroy Edom? There's a different policy institute that's actually just made it more clear in America. Keep ire of white Christians on Abdul and Karim and all these people, and not on me. Pepe speaks about this all the time.
Do you have evidence to show that? Do you have evidence to show that IPAC is supporting immigration of those people to America? Because
AIPAC's position is very pro-immigration.
So there's a different way you say supporting Muslims to come to America. Can you show evidence? I'm not saying AIPAC talk about bringing, just so it, and I'll be very sure.
Okay, let me find AIPAC, Syrian refugees. Give me a moment. Yeah, where is this? Okay, here's one. AIPAC. Okay, authorized. So here they're authorizing U.S. strikes on Syria, obviously going to increase the refugee crisis. But here's another that I'm going to send that they are in support of
the link that you provided is behind the paywall. Like, did you purchase the research?
I'm sure you can find a few dollars. But yes, I did.
I'm asking if you read it.
Yeah, I did.
The study.
I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I do spend money on things. I'm a Christian. It's my job to give money to others. I want to make the world rich, and not just the Jew.
Okay, progress the link. Okay.
political.
The link you provided has nothing to do with what you said, but fine.
I know, I'm providing more.
Yeah, but
hold on.
there's something that's to collaborate what you're saying, not just a link.
All right, I'm bringing.
Next level, immigration is what we're talking about.
Yes.
Sure, like a conspiracy theory more than an actual research. It really is, because you made like a big story that has zero evidence that you can say.
Well, we have literal rabbis speaking about this openly.
So what if he's a rabbi? I don't get it. So what? You know that so many rabbis.
Rabbi said something doesn't mean
No, I know.
Rabbi is not a legislator, as far as I remember.
I realize that, but also just logically speaking.
Can rabbi change a law of the United States?
No, I agree, but also just logically speaking. So you're telling me that, Christian countries, right, with well-believing Christian politicians, Christians, who have had a very long history of dealing with Muslim bullcrap, that we Christians would be the ones that would just say, we want so many Syrian refugees here. We want so many Iraqi refugees here. Yeah, we want Somalis here. Somalis who, look at them.
Yeah,
I just looked at the links you posted. You got a Politico link. It doesn't say anything about the Syrian refugees being led into the U.S.
No, I know. Because the first ones weren't about Syrian refugees. I'm looking for one right now about.
Well, yeah, the one you put in has nothing to do with refugees, though.
No, I know, because the first ones weren't about refugees. You were asking for links to other things. Now, I'm looking for one about refugees.
Why did you put a link that doesn't have one about
Because the earlier things you asked for sources for weren't about refugees.
Now you talked about refugees for the past 10 minutes, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
We were talking about, in general, Jewish support for different things in the Muslim world, right? Now you want Syrian refugees.
The whole discussion was about bringing Muslims. Isa asked you who's bringing them and why, and then you brought those links.
1 second.
Yeah. You posted the link 2 minutes ago. 2 minutes ago, we were talking about refugees. And the link is actually talking about authorization of strikes against Syria.
Yes. Authorization of strikes against a secular leader in Syria so that we can support Islamists.
That coincides with the people who they were lobbying. They were lobbying Republicans like freaking Mitch McConnell, obviously, but it says nothing about letting these Syrian refugees into the country.
Yeah, I know, but it's all connected, of course, because if you know that people...
Connection is in your head. This is why I said that. You're speaking for a long time, McLovin.
Because you keep asking me questions, so I have to answer
because you're making a lot of assumptions which you cannot prove, and a lot of it is like in your head, which you kind of making connections. The Jews... You made medical statements. One is that the Jews changed immigration laws in order to bring Muslims, in order to have a fight between Christians and Muslims. And this is all in your head because you couldn't prove any of those 3 points that you made, and you connected them to a big conspiracy theory in your head.
I don't know.
Jewish this is exactly what I was looking at.
AIPAC specifically.
So this one is amazing. Now you want it on AIPAC specifically. So this one, Jewish organization sues to stop Muslim ban. So that's a pretty big one, huh? Why would the Jews sue to prevent Muslims from being prevented?
This is not what you said again.
Here's another one from National Review. Here's another one from the National Review. You guys want to prove
AIPAC. You brought up AIPAC.
Okay, so now you just want AIPAC specifically.
Well, you
said only Jews in the U.S.
You specifically said AIPAC was lobbying.
No, I said Jews. I gave you an example. I said Jews. No. I said Jews. Let's pretend I said AIPAC, so I'm correcting and saying Jews. So I'm about to give the article number 2.
Jews aren't an organization.
The Jews are people. Jews are
a demographic. They're not a
organization. Yeah, exactly. They are a demographic. They're people and they support Muslim immigration into the U.S. Okay, so let me look, Bill Francis. Let me just keep speaking. So now I provided link number 2. The naivety of Jewish support for Muslim immigration into the West. Let's look at link number 3. Jewish activists vow solidarity with Muslims in America, right? So,
So it's in your head.
this was all in my head.
This is not.
Yeah, it's in your head.
It's all in my head. I just gave you 3 articles.
But none of them is nothing to do with what you said.
They all literally have to do with solidarity when it comes to Muslim immigration. One of them even talks about
Speak about solidarity, McLaren.
One of
To be
them.
accurate, you made a statement. Yeah, but you're trying to dance around.
One of them is literally even talking about a Jewish group suing the U.S. government for preventing Muslims from entering the country. Why would a Jewish group sue America?
I don't care why.
To stop Muslims from entering America.
McLaren, honey, you said the Jews changed the law in order to bring Muslims, there was like a big plan for the Christians to fight with the Muslims so they would let the Jews off.
Yes, this is your entire history. Yes.
No, this is in your head, McLaren. Do you have any
proof? Your entire history.
No, but it's not.
Christians and Muslims fighting. I mean, I support fighting Muslims. Make no mistake.
Wow.
I don't like Muslims.
Thank you.
I don't want to.
So you cannot do. Okay.
I want to do it for me.
McLaren, I understand that you have a very strong opinion, which is fine. You're entitled to have your opinion, but it's a conspiracy theory, and
it's really not.
You can think it's
just like everything that mysteriously turns out to be true for Jews is labeled a conspiracy theory.
Okay. All right. So you cannot prove anything that you said. That's fine.
I just literally gave you 3 bits of proof. You asked, show the proof that Jews are supporting Muslim immigration into the U.S.
You brought nothing that proves your point. You brought nothing that proves your point.
I literally did. I showed Jewish organizations supporting Muslim immigration into the U.S. Now you guys say, we hate Muslims. The Muslims want to kill us. Muslims are the worst things ever. So why do you want Muslims to come join you in the West?
You said it. You need to prove it. We didn't say it.
So,
this is the problem with you guys, because you were making an assumption and then you are confused with the whole assumption.
I'm really not making any assumptions. I'm going exactly off of what your lobby is promoting.
But we are not saying it because you cannot prove that this is what we're doing. Wow, my God.
We literally show this is exactly what you're doing. And we have rabbis that say this.
All right, okay. So McLaren, I understand.
Other organizations that say absolutely.
All right. Got it.
You just keep saying I cannot prove. I mean, just because you say I cannot prove doesn't mean
the link you're posting, bro, and it's kind of crazy how you're trying to flip all this shit. The first link that you posted, it's about an article, and it's mentioning immigration from 1902 to 1915.
Okay, we'll look at the last 3 I posted.
I could go through each of them, but I'm going to go one by one so people can know that these links are just nonsense. But you posted that for lobbying efforts in the
hold on a second. You don't...
If you're going to be talking about Jewish organizations, why are you posting something from 1902 to 1915 and passing it off as its current?
Because if you were to look at if what he's referring to is the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, you can go to ADL's website. Will all say this. They'll all admit it. When it came to changing our national origins quota, which favored Northwestern Europeans, and to a lesser extent allowed a smaller number from Southern and Eastern Europe come in. The B'nai B'ath, they were the one, the Jewish lobby in the United States were the ones that were the most persistent and had the leading role in pushing for a change to our immigration laws. And so they did things like, for example, they wrote a book. Hold on a second. They did something like, for example, A Nation of Immigrants. That was a book, and it was ghost. Yep. Hold on a second. It was ghost. Yeah. Yes, it does. It was ghost written. Amazing. It was ghost written, and it was, and they put the author. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Don't shut the fuck up.
I wasn't even talking about you. I was talking about McLovin, but you interrupted.
You're hyper-focusing on links. So the main argument.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to do this. You can look this up on the you can look this up on the ADL website.
Yeah, you can. Okay. Obviously, yeah. You can look up anything. I'm talking about what
Yes. I'm giving you the claim. I'm giving you the claim, and I'm telling you where to find the information.
Did you look at the
like once again, I told you. So They wrote The Nation of Immigrants, a book that was ghostwritten. They put John F. Kennedy Jr. They put John F. JFK as the author. All right, shut the fuck up, you whiny little bitch.
The link that was posted.
We're not. I'm telling you where to find better information, for fuck's sake.
Better information. I'm not talking about your book.
He's doing the ridiculous phenomenon of like, let's hyper-focus on this one point. And
are you guys able to control yourself and have a dialogue between amongst you without any moderation, like adults?
There's only one person interrupting, and it's dope.
Yeah, I was talking. He's uninterrupted.
Everyone's yelling.
It's just dope.
And so, if you look, for example, they ghostwritten that book. They put JFK as the author. They admit this. ADL's go to their website. They talk about this. Now, there was two main reasons that the Jews in America at the time wanted to do this. Number one, they wanted to make it easier for Jews to immigrate here, which most of them were in Eastern Europe, and our national origins quota didn't really made it kind of hard for them. You also had the Italians that were, behind them. The Knights of Columbus wanted it because, of course, Italians, Southern Europe affected them. But one of the biggest reasons that they stated, though, was that, because of and they talked about this, with the homogenous country, they were afraid of if the country was so homogenous that they felt like there could be an anti-Semitic, like populist uprising that could kind of imperil them. So they felt that a country that's more diverse, that would be less likely to take place. And he's like Rabbi Wolpe, from Harvard. He was giving a speech, maybe a month ago, talking about anti-Semitism, and even he was saying, in America, I feel we're somewhat safe because racism and anti-Semitism is it's on the rise, but there's no such thing as the American people, like an ethnicity. The Germans are German, but we are all kinds of ethnicities and religions, and so it makes it hard to have a unified uprising. And so, that is one thing where even it kind of left us, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth and a lot of others, because, it did in a way, like one of what I think is the biggest tragedy for the United States has been the 1965 Hart-Celler Act, the Immigration Act. We went from being a 90% white country to now we're going to end up being a minority, in a couple of decades. That is a fucking travesty. And, I'm not going to say that if Jews weren't the ones pushing it, that inevitably that we would not have, changed our laws due to our low birth rates and the fact that we have, proximity to Mexico. But there are, and you can look at Australia. We can look at I believe it was Sweden's immigration act, and how that changed. It was also Jews largely that spearheaded that one. So there is there is some animosity on the West against the impact that Jews have had on their countries, and you can't necessarily blame them. Israel would be very unhappy if we demographically had anything, and I mean any part to play in, changing their immigration laws would put Jews in a minority. I'll land there.
Okay, so that had nothing to do with the paper I was referencing, of course. But I was trying to grill McLovin, so that's why I was upset when Pepe was interrupting me to put on his cape for him. But like I said before, his paper had nothing to do with the 1965 Immigration Act. It had nothing to do with modern Syrian refugees. It was talking about how Hebrew organizations were helping Hebrew immigrants in the early 1900s America. So the paper, again, had nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Okay, but you're doing the silly thing of we're going to hyper-focus on one small thing McLovin said instead of the general argument, which the other papers I mentioned. Okay, but what Pepe said made sense, even though Pepe just literally reiterated the exact same thing I was saying.
I'm hyper-focusing on what you posted.
cool.
Yes, exactly. Dope. You are hyper focusing
on your own arguments. It's crazy how that works. When you're in an argument, you hyper focus on the claims of your opponent. That's what usually works.
Yeah. So you are hyper focusing on one.
Usually how it works. Usually you look at the holistic argument and try to combat that. But I actually posted.
If I say an argument and I respond and I prove you wrong and you can't own up to it,
Let me finish before you interrupt, right? So I actually posted some links in the chat as well. Wall Street Journal, has an article about this, about how in 1965, a lot of Jewish lobbies under various different umbrella organizations actually have been working for about 40 years to change the immigration laws from the previous one passed in the 1920s, and that this was not actually a result of popular pressure that the immigration law changed, but rather due to Jewish activists.
You're 100% correct, right? If you look at the polling at the time, the vast majority of Americans were against opening up our immigration to people outside of what the quotas that we had. We had the Mexicans that we did have come here. They were under the Bracero programs. They were guest workers. They went back home. That law just fucked everything up. And despite it being unpopular, the American people were told at the time when it was signed by Lyndon B. Johnson that it would not mess with the demography of America. That was a flat out fucking lie. It literally completely fucked up the demography of America. So, I mean, I don't believe in all of the Jew conspiracy theories and all of that shit, but I do think that if you look at different groups, we can look at, the Irish, I can go on about them and what they've done fucked up in our country. Same with a lot of groups of people, but I mean, that is one thing the Jewish community in America merely did to fuck our country up.
Yeah, but you have to understand why they did it, right? So they did this in 1965. Of course, they've been working on it since the 1920s. Since about the time that the Balfour Declaration was passed, by the time they got it done in 65, 2 years later, they start the 67 war with all their neighbors, right? Conquering land, destabilizing the entire created a problem just after they found the solution of where to put all of these immigrants that are going to be eventually created.
I know they were lobbying, was it Italy, Malta, or Canada to take in Gazans right now?
This is some bullshit.
Oh yeah, they've been talking since you can go back 7 months ago, right? Since October, they've been saying that why don't these Europeans take in these Gazans?
That's the thing. They have to understand. There's people like me, as you guys know, I'm pro-Israel, right? If they send any number of Gazans to European or North American shores, I'm going to say, and I'm telling everybody, and I've been saying this for months, I'm going to say, fuck Israel. I'll always vote against Israel. I will want to see the state crushed. I will want them to just no longer exist. If they even fucking dare pass off any of those terrorist brown Muslim pieces of shit into our fucking lands, okay? It's Israel's fucking problem to deal with. You're not pushing it on us. They already have enough fucking problems with these people. So if you're going to be a good little fucking ally, you're going to deal with your fucking problem. Don't unload your shit on us. Because I will. That right there will seal the deal. And it will. It's not just me. So many people will think the same fucking thing. So, I mean, they're really playing on thin ice. They'll see anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism, and I'll be 100% anti-Zionist if they do that. So
they've been doing this already. They've been doing this since the 60s. They're creating problems, destabilizing the region.
Which day are we talking about? We're talking about
more immigrants to leave.
Benny Adam, we're talking about
I'm talking about Israel, Jews, right? So they've been causing problems through their problem called Israel, right? In the region, creating more and more refugees.
We're creating problems in the region.
Yes, destabilizing the countries around them, like Egypt, like Syria, like Lebanon, like Jordan. When do you think immigrants are coming out? Daniel, you're emotional. I know you're emotional.
I'm not emotional at all, but just factual.
We're touching on something. You gotta let
me. No, not emotional. Not emotional, not triggered, not anything.
I get it.
But the civil war was not started by Israel, I mean. It started by the PLO.
64 was started by Israel.
No, it didn't.
It was absolutely started by Israel.
No, it wasn't. No, it didn't.
It absolutely was. This is
Factually not.
It absolutely was.
Factually not.
And it actually was, right? And you have to understand that this is when, right, just after 1965 is when you see a big uptick of immigrants leaving these countries, specifically the countries that border Israel. This is not a coincidence, right? So, Pepe, it doesn't make sense for you to be an ally of Israel, view them as an ally, be a supporter of Israel. Because the more you support Israel, the more immigrants are going to be created from the countries that surround it. Now, obviously, Israel wants to continue to destabilize.
Egypt started the Six-Day War as any other.
For 50 years, they have been destabilizing these countries.
But it's not true.
Why do Palestinians have to go? Why Palestinians have to go to the West instead of the 156? No, sorry, instead of the 56 Arab countries. I mean, why aren't they taking?
You recognize that even the other Arab countries, even especially the ones around Israel,
why aren't they taking them?
Also have immigrants coming out of them. I'm not from Palestine. I'm from
No. Palestinians are not allowed to come into the other 56 Arab countries.
They are.
What's that?
No, they're not letting them.
No, they're not.
Not anymore, because they caused the problems that they have in Lebanon and in Syria and Jordan. Not the Jews.
No country wants to take on Palestinian refugees, dude. I was actually reading about it.
Explicitly refused to take Palestinian refugees.
Hold on. It was actually, I was reading about it the other day, and I was very surprised. I didn't know about this. It was last week, right, Daniel, that I found out. And I thought it was, I was actually shocked to see that none of the 56 Arab countries are taking refugees. They don't want Palestinians in their country because they have always caused issues. Apparently so. I mean,
Let's be honest with facts.
If you actually want to look at it, like that, then you have to ask the question of why were Jews kicked out of 107 different countries or 100 some countries? Does that mean they're facing problems every single place where they go?
We should talk about that too. I'll talk about the Palestinians.
It's just a coincidence that Jews get kicked out of every single country.
Many other Palestinians are Arab Muslims. Why would they be kicked out from Arab Muslim countries?
They cause trouble everywhere they go, much like Jews.
I just want to say one thing. I think it's absolutely hilarious.
Jews didn't cause problems.
One sec. I think it's hilarious that we're trying to have a discussion on Islam, and every fucking time we try to have this discussion, it goes right back to the Jews. It's like, can't we just?
And Jews are like 0.2% of the global population.
Only a quarter of billionaires.
Yeah.
Well, no, because we're smart and we work hard and we're innovative.
You're not only
Which countries were Jews kicked out? 109. Actually, 110 if you count Guatemala in 2014.
Study, work hard, innovate.
You know who were kicked out of Guatemala in 2014? For committing too many rapes.
I have a lot of Guatemalan Jewish friends, and I mean, I wasn't really kind of like aware of that because I just have friends, you know. I don't see where they're evangelical or Jewish or whatever they are, you know. But then now in Clubhouse, and I started realizing like all my Jewish friends from Guatemala, and they're all actually very, very hardworking and very intelligent as well. Super successful in everything that they do. I mean, it's amazing, and they're from Guatemala.
Yeah, I also committed so many rapes in Guatemala town we got kicked out. I'm a Catholic.
I just think I want to hear what my school girl has to say.
I was just saying hello to you, and I was saying that I love when 10 people talk at the same time because I can totally hear points at the same time.
We said that,
Scooter girl.
Hi, Pepe.
Yeah, I was just gonna say though, you know what I think the difference between, because you're talking about the difference between Israel and Palestine, and it's not the Palestinians that are violent, it's the Jews that are violent. Well, maybe if you use your fertilizer to grow crops and like build up your economy instead of using the fertilizer to build bombs and explosives, like maybe then you know, Palestine could be a country, maybe it could be a state. Well, they spent all of their money, all of their infrastructure money on fucking weaponry and warfare.
I do have a question though. Like,
hold on, let me go, please.
Okay, got it.
You guys are being disingenuous. Can you please shut up, you scooter girl? Easy. You guys are being very disingenuous. How can you equate the struggle that Black Americans did for the... Can you?
Are we
For the
talking
civil
about
rights?
Sorry,
Israel
I
and
was just
Palestine?
laughing because I understand that we're going back to slavery.
The fuck?
To go there.
Scooter girl, I know you're a foolish white trash. Shut up, please.
You're a nigger. It doesn't matter.
Oh, Scooter, come on, let's not make this a black-white road.
Hold on.
He called me white trash. He called me white trash.
You can come here, you're white trash.
Okay, Audion and Scooter, you are not allowed to talk to each other, okay?
So she shouldn't interrupt me, it's as simple as that. So you guys are being very disingenuous, talking about the 1965 Immigration Act and you're saying you Jews. I mean, forgot the struggle people had for it. That's very silly. Stop mentioning Jews. I don't think Jews are superhuman.
No, that's not connected to the Civil Rights Act.
Let me finish. Beniada brought it up. Let me finish. He put the links he put in the chat. Secondly, the idea that Jews are saying that the Western world should take Palestinians, it's a slap in face. Meaning, if the Western world cares so much about Palestine, since their Arab neighbors are not taking them, Turkey is not even taking a lot. Egypt, UAE, Saudi, they're not taking a lot. Maybe the West can help them. It's just a slap in face, a chicken in your mouth. Take them if you want to. Thirdly, you make this strange argument that confuses me. What do you mean by demographics? You're not white, you're from Mexico. So I don't get this idea where you feel that, they're going to be a majority. You know what? Things will change. Demographics will change. Are the Jews also responsible for the mistake the CDU did in Germany? Angela Merkel are also responsible when she took him out of sympathy. A lot of Syrian refugees and they are causing havoc. Are the Swedish government, Danish government, Belgian government also controlled by the Jews by taking in Muslim refugees? No. So the idea is,
the German government is absolutely.
Hold on, let me finish.
What do you? We can go back to the 1800s with that and the rise of Republican governments in Western Europe. All these are
please.
Just let me say this to Mikael. Oh my God, everybody has to mute. Mikael, you need to tap on your PTR and click on the option of accept invite. I cannot invite you again. You need to do that.
So Angela Merkel is controlled by the Jews and her party is suffering a beating because of foolishness that she did. My point generally is the CD is suffering a beating. My point generally is that you can say that the West made certain mistakes by being sympathetic to these Islamic fundamentalist Muslims. I believe everybody has learned their lesson. We can say, they try to be good or they try to be that. Now, like I said before, stop showing sympathy to these Muslims. They don't like you. Their religion is not compatible with the West. Muslims, Islam you should be very wary of that religion. At least you guys have seen it, right? Tell me, Israel, Palestine, go to all the majority Muslim countries, African Muslim nations, they are all supporting Palestine. Not because they really care about people dying. It's just because they are Muslims. There's havoc, genocide happening in every other country in the world, but it's only Israel they remember. So please, that's all I wanted to say. But like I said,
but I wanted.
Let me finish.
No one's being
Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Just 1 minute. The whole world doesn't need to care about Palestine. This very idea that everybody needs to care about Palestine. No, people die everywhere. Palestinians can die and the world will move on. Nobody needs to care. I don't need to care about Israel. I don't need to care about Palestine. But for you, Palestinian pro-Hamas, pro-Caucus, pro-watermelon people to tell me that the greatest humanity affecting mankind is the Palestinian cause, God forbid, it's not the greatest humanity affecting mankind.
Who said that? Who made that argument?
Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Because Benny Adam came on this stage and said the Jews have been destabilizing the whole world. Okay.
Yes.
We destabilizing the Middle East. I said
We don't care. I don't care. They should be, I don't care about them.
But they're also destabilizing the West.
But what you have to understand is by them
Odie is a fucking moron. I'm sorry, I have to
specifically the
stop.
countries that creates immigrants in the West. You can see uptick in immigration from countries to the West as a result of Zionism. And so, the longer you have the state of Israel, the more immigrants you're going to have from these countries in the West. You want to stop immigration from these countries to the West, provide them prosperity at home. They won't want to.
Why should they be the West responsibilities, Mehdi and Tom? Why should they be other
The West are
people's
colonizing these countries.
I would invite
These were colonies of Britain and France.
That's a stupid point.
How was that a stupid point? It's a fact.
No, it's not. That's not the only cause of the immigration.
No, if you look at
even without all of that.
If you look at France, for example, they brought in people, Muslims from their North African colonies, including a lot of them were Jewish too, from the North African colonies to help rebuild after World War I, did the same thing after World War II, and of course, just because of their history there, that's kind of why they got hit with the most immigrants, I guess you can say, compared to the other larger European countries. But I did want to point on one thing. Now, I agree that Jews have been persecuted throughout time and treated unfairly, but I mean, to be 109-0 and over 1,000 times, and it was never the Jews' fault. I'm just not that naive. I mean, we can look at in Spain when the Jews ended up opening the gates of Toledo to the Russian and Muslim invaders. Oh shit. How do you think that went down? Oh, that's right. They ended up kicking them all out. Can you necessarily blame them?
Hello.
I mean, you literally invited an enemy force into the land, and then there was an Inquisition. Then the Spanish Inquisition ended up happening, and they're like, not only are the Muslims going, fuck you people too. I would have done the same thing. I mean, can you blame them? No group of people is perfect throughout history. Nobody. You guys enslaved people. We enslaved people. Everybody's done bad shit.
Yeah, but what are we talking about? Unfortunately, a lot more bad shit.
Yeah, I mean, like Bolshevik Russia, how does one group? I mean, you guys, they basically killed the entire Orthodox Church in much of Eastern Europe for about 100 years. Promoted state atheism. Of course, the only law they passed was, that we're going to end anti-Semitism. Okay, that's great, but genocide 11 million Ukrainians, no problem. Deport Circassians, no problem. Deport Tatars, create a Jewish autonomous zone in Crimea, no problem. Look, no one feels bad for Muslims, to be honest.
Bolshevik Russia was an operation of Jews. I think that's the common argument.
We literally, Jewish. I'm just going to read you some statistics. So David Shapiro, who's a Jewish.
Throw them at me because I've already looked into this shit. It's actually.
Oh, okay, perfect. So then you would know. Oh, so okay. So is it just the dough? Is it just the dough? Okay, so is it just the dope pie show, or can I read my statistics?
Okay, or you can read your statistics. I'll follow up with them.
Okay, so in a country where Jews make up 1.5% of the population, why was it they were a minimum 20% of the Politburo, potentially up to 70% when you include everyone with a Jewish grandparent. 1/4 of all Order of Lenins belong to them. 15% of academics belong to them. About the same percent of doctors. 1/4 of the whole KGB was KGB officers, them. 11 of 13 major gulags headed by Jews. 56% of the people responsible for Holodomor, i.e. the people involved in the Ukrainian operation of the KGB at the time Holodomor happened, Jewish. And then you have Jewish organizations.
Where did you get all those stats from? Just to be specific.
JSTOR. JSTOR. And I can give you a book. I'm about to give you a book right now. There's a Ukrainian historian named, I'm pretty sure, Yuri Shapoval, right? Who has a book, The Cheka GPU and KVD in Ukraine. It's published in 1997. I'm going to give you a link, right? It will give you a link to the book. You can read. He goes through, counts every single officer in the KGB in Ukraine when Holodomor happened. This is the conclusion. 57% of them Jewish.
Okay, so why was this Jewish-led government banning Orthodox Jews from having their religion?
They banned Judaism in the sense that, oh, you cannot believe in it in a religious sense, but be ethnically Jewish. Yes, which of course is no. So, do you ask questions that you actually want to hear answers for, or do you just ask just to be like contrarian?
You didn't answer the question.
I'm trying to answer the question, and I can't answer them if you interrupt every 5 seconds, huh?
Okay, sure.
So touch to you. Like, we're not in kindergarten anymore, right? We're all 20 plus, I hope. Anyway, so they banned Judaism in the sense that, oh, you can't believe in it in a religious sense. You can be an ethnic Jew, so you can keep all your Jewish cultural practices, right? And still be openly Jewish. Now, as we know, all Jewish cultural practices are kind of explicitly related toward the religion. Jews, as a people, have evolved their religion so many times and are so inconsistent on it that at this point, you can be a Jew and an atheist, which is kind of hilarious and ridiculous when one thinks about it. So yeah, they could have, worshipped their Hashem, which most of them don't believe in, boo-hoo. But they could control the whole government, force their laws upon people, have a unique...
just to make...
Okay, so let's answer what laws did they force. Okay, so the first law that he said just ask me a question.
I can't
He said just ask me a question, and I answer.
He's speaking too much and he's just making statements.
Because you ask questions that you guys don't want answers to.
No, yeah,
so can I answer a question or no?
I would like Daniel to respond to this as well, because I don't know where you're from, but he is Jewish, and I think that's something he can answer to.
I'm not sure what was the question, but I agree with McLaughlin basically making all kinds of statements. Most of them are blood libel, and he talks of them as if they're fact. Jews is this, Jews is that, and he kind of moves from one point to another. When you try to ask him with proof, I understand that this is what he believes, and again, McLaughlin can believe whatever he wants.
The specific statement he said, Daniel, is that Jews are dominating governments and they are imposing their own laws based on their own religion into countries.
No, I did not say based on their religion. No, I did not say based on their religion.
Their own laws in the countries to the government.
Can you give me an example of a law? Can you give me an example?
Can you give an example of that, McLaughlin?
Okay, so like I said right at the beginning, is Dope McLovin now? Is Dope McLovin now or no?
The right to what? What's the example?
Okay, so like the first thing I said was one of the first laws that were passed in the Soviet Union the moment that the Bolsheviks took control of it was a complete ban on anti-Semitism. Now, this is all well and good, okay? We can't discriminate against Jews, but discriminate against any other ethnic minority in the Soviet Union who made a much larger percentage of the country than Jews.
Listen, I am in disagreement of imposing speech or touching freedom of speech at all. So anything that goes against that, I am not in favor of that. Now, in terms of the anti-Semitism thing, I also agree that once you make everything anti-Semitic, nothing is anti-Semitic, So, but it's also true that this is not only about having opinions on Jews. This has become an aggression towards them, and it has become dangerous towards them. When you see all these protests in the streets and actually calling for genocide of the Jews, this is not anymore freedom of expression. This is not anymore just a freedom of speech. This is actually calling for violence towards them. And I cannot even imagine being a Jew living in the US or living in one of these countries that are having all of these demonstrations. I would be terrified. I would be shitting my pants all the time, like going around and seeing that all these Muslims are basically invading these countries and seeing them protesting and saying such things. Like, I wouldn't want to leave my home.
That wasn't my point. Wait 1 second. That wasn't my point.
And the Jews are fighting against anti-Semitism, which I think makes sense.
Wait 1 second. Okay, Daniel, that's okay, but that wasn't my point. My point was this law, okay, that was passed, right, when the Bolsheviks took power in the Soviet Union. Okay, it's a good thing, right? We end anti-Semitism. 1.5% of the population is protected from discrimination. That's all well and good. But the same Bolshevik government had no issues with anti-Ukrainianism. 11 million Ukrainians got killed. Anti-Crimeanism.
That's not a thing. What is anti-Crimeanism?
Jesus Christ. Okay, the racism against racism. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, dude.
You're inventing stuff.
Yeah, anti-Tatarism, dude.
You're inventing stuff.
Oh, what do you mean? I'm inventing stuff. You can be racist against a Jew. You can be racist against a Tatar. Or do you think you guys are the only people who can be discriminated against in the world? Anyway, like I was saying, the same government that banned anti-Semitism had no issue discriminating against literally every single other ethnic minority in the Soviet Union. And when you look, I gave 3 examples. One of them is Holodomor, the genocide of 11 million Ukrainians in the 1930s. Another, the deportation of...
That's not discrimination.
That's not discrimination to genocide 11 million people on the basis of their ethnicity. So was the Holocaust then.
Then they should have learned.
So was the Holocaust then.
Hold on.
The Holocaust wasn't discrimination.
You cannot compare the Holocaust.
Oh, I can't compare the Holocaust. Ukrainians get killed, but we can't compare it to 6 million.
The Holocaust is not a discrimination.
We cannot compare the genocide of 11 million Ukrainians to 6 million Jews.
Genocide is discrimination.
People you're referring to? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
We cannot apparently compare the genocide of 11 million Ukrainians to that of 6 million Jews. That's just,
the
off the
Ukrainians
table.
were killed for, the Ukrainians were basically starved to death, and that was more of a pogrom. But that was more of a pogrom against the farmers. They basically they ended up going after the...
On the basis of their ethnicity.
Not on their ethnicity.
Their social status. They're farmers.
Yes, their social status, and the fact that they owned farmland, because the communists, they wanted to make sure, and if they were even caught eating a grain of what they were growing, they would get fucking killed. Now they were. If you look at Ukraine, it's literally like the breadbasket of Eastern Europe. That is where the super fertile soil was. It wasn't because they were Ukrainian.
But hold on, exactly. A genocide is what Pepe is saying. A genocide is an intentional.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a coincidence those are Jewish autonomous zone
I know you guys love to be Muslim, but listen, again, this is not a Muslim room. So
none of us are Muslims.
Okay, so anyway,
You're not Muslim.
a genocide is when you do murder people with intention because of their ethnicity. That is a genocide, and that's the primary reason why you decide to kill them. That was not the case with Ukrainians. That was a famine.
That literally was.
That was a famine.
Not because they were Ukrainian.
They were trying to take
And they were not died because they were Ukrainians.
Yes,
The same way that right now Palestinians are not dying because they're Palestinians. They're dying because they are attacking and there's
self-defense. Really? You believe that nonsense? You believe that?
So just mysteriously in this time period, the same Bolshevik government mooted the idea of a Jewish autonomous zone in Ukraine. Right, Ukrainian people, both Tatars.
How do we keep on focusing on Jews when this is
because this is what happened in that time period. We're talking about the Soviet Union. We're talking about the Soviet Union. Let's talk about what happened.
This is the reason that you had
you can Google
Jew hatred. Because you guys are obsessed with Jew hatred. This is not the topic. And every time we go back to Jews, and genocide is the deliberate intention of destroying an ethnic
Yes, the deliberate intention of destroying the Ukrainian people to create a Jewish autonomous zone in Ukraine.
Why do you marry
That was what the point.
The Holodomor
You love talking about this so much.
Anyway,
definition for genocide.
how exactly is this topic, McLovin, how exactly is this topic related to Islam? Can you please enlighten?
Because you guys were happy to go on to the comparison between Jews and Muslims. I'll make it clear. Jesus Christ. You guys were talking about the Talmud even before I came into the room.
They were talking about Islam and how it is compatible or not with the West.
You guys were talking about the Talmud before I came into this room. Yes, you were. Why are we denying? Because I came in the room and you guys were talking about the...
Okay,
why are you triggered?
I just didn't shut down the topic because I don't like to be that authoritarian. I like to go and be flexible with the conversation. I don't want to be like, oh my God, we have to talk about this. But the problem is when we start being a little bit too flexible, then we start talking about Ukrainian and the famine
McLavin.
I don't care about Palestine. I don't care about Palestine.
Also, Jews. What about Jews?
Palestine.
McLavin, try not to think about Jews if you can. See if you can hold it.
Okay, but if we're talking about Muslims and the bad things Muslims have done, you guys were right there helping them. Every single thing they did against Christians.
You're a Christian, right?
Every single Muslim crime against Christians was helped by a Jew.
You can talk about Christianity because you're a Christian.
Every single Muslim crime against Christianity was helped by a Jew.
You're talking about Islam, but you're
exactly.
You sound how cognitive dissonance you're in. Do you not see it, dude? Are you retarded?
Also, McLovin is.
Cynic, listen. If you don't know how to behave in a group and not
Here we go again. You want
by name? I will kick you again if you would not. If you're gonna call. If you're gonna call, I'll be you that brought you back.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
One more curse from you, Cynic, and I'm moving it.
Okay, hold on. I'm just saying to Artsak that you missed it, but McLovin has been talking over the past hour. He's been the center of the conversation.
Actually, I really haven't. I just became the center about 5 minutes.
Dude, it's
I get it. I get it. Listen, Shiksa, I get it. You have a leash on you by Shlomo, and Shlomo wants you to, it's just kind of pathetic. If you want to be honest and say, oh, I don't want to insult the Jews, that's fine. Just say it. I don't want to talk bad about my Jewish friends, my Jewish pastor. You try to make this that, oh, this is all about McLovin. McLovin's been centered the room. McLovin took over the room. It's just fucking...
Listen, no topic is ever banned from any of my spaces. I love talking about anything. The only thing is that right now we're trying to have a conversation about whether Islam is a good fit with the West or not. And then you're trying to bring it back to the war. I don't want to talk about the war
You mentioned fucking Gaza. No one cares about Palestine.
We have
no one mentioned Palestine but you.
We have talked
You lead the conversation about Palestine.
Stop talking over her!
Look who's posting the link above.
Oh yeah, because this is about the Muslims.
The Muslims. You're the one talking about Palestine. You're the only one talking about Palestine.
Lisa,
The Palestinians.
Lisa, I want to hear what you have to say.
This voice is just, I don't know.
I just think it's hilarious that, anytime that we try to have a conversation about Islam, a bunch of, people come in and they go, it's the Jews! It's the Jews! The Jews do everything!
Because y'all are Jews. Because y'all are Jews. And you're Jewish.
You're Jewish.
Was he agreed that Islam does not fit the West, or it's not compatible with the West? The only thing that he disagreed with you on is when you said that Judaism is actually compatible with the West.
Which is exactly.
It's compatible with Western.
No. What I said, because his statement was Jews are in control of the governments and they are imposing their own laws in the governments. And I said to him, give me an example, because I don't think that's the case. And he came back with the anti-Semitism thing in the US, which I responded to that I do not agree with any rules that affect the freedom of speech or that have an impact on what you ought to say. Now, what I said as well is that this has nothing to do anymore just with the freedom of speech, because all the heat that's going on with the war, a lot of people have become very violent and very aggressive towards Jewish people, and they are afraid for their lives.
Understand how many Palestinians were killed?
And I said I cannot even imagine being a Jew living in a place that is like that, because I would be scared to death and I would be shitting my pants seeing all the support that these groups of Palestine supporting Palestinians and how they get a green light about talking and supporting genocide and all of these stuff and talking about how to kill all the Jews. Yes, I don't think that is a call for violence, in my opinion.
Can you respond? Can I respond? Because you want to talk about Palestine. You want to talk about Palestine. Can I respond to you?
Actually,
all right. So for the most part, the Palestinian protesters have been extremely peaceful. They It's just simply doing sit-ins. The ones who have not been peaceful, as we have seen with every sit-in, are those people who support Israel, the Zionists, and the Jews. Those are the ones who come armed with pepper spray and with weapons, and there have actually been casualties among Palestinian protesters and Palestinian protesters. We had a kid early on in the war that got stabbed over 16 times. We had another man that got shot. We have another man, a Palestinian man, that got crippled. We have a bunch of people that have literally suffered actual harm. Not just someone coming up to them and harming their feelings, quote unquote. You know.
Do you really believe what you're saying, Cynic? Do you really believe it?
Let me finish. Let me finish. So,
motherfucker.
Shake it.
You on with him.
Cynic. If you're not going to be respectful on the stage, and I ask you this nasty...
Move it down.
Cynic, if you're not going to be respectful on the stage, you're not going to be here, okay?
Bro,
Stop calling names
you
to
need
people.
to be respectful and stop interrupting.
I mean, he was being interrupted by people, to be fair.
So again, if we're going to talk about genocide, who's actually calling for genocide? When you have literally the whole cabinet of Israel practically calling Palestinians Amalekites and animals and calling to wiping out Gaza and bombing Gaza and turning it into a parking lot. And when we see the protesters, the demonstrators who are going out in support of Israel and Zionism and all that, also making the same claims and having banners with the same slogans, I mean, who's actually calling for genocide? Can you give me one banner?
Yes.
One actual call for Palestine.
I will tell you.
Let me finish, you triggered clowns. Let me finish.
No,
so
I'm sorry. Goodbye. I'm tired of him.
I mean, I just wanted to say that the frustrating part about him is that he's so incredibly one-sided with his points. Like, he's saying that, there's no anti-Semitism going on in the U.S. against, Jewish Americans.
That's lies.
Which has nothing to do with Israel. That's just Jews living in America. There's been people in Toronto and Montreal that have been shooting at Jewish schools in those cities. There's been massive protests. They've been yelling a genocidal slogan from the river to the sea, like every weekend for how many fucking months now?
At least 6.
Literally, and not only that, but from what I've seen, there has been violence in the protests. I've seen it on the news. There have been violence in the protests. I don't see that coming from Jews very much. In fact, I feel like if a Jew came to a protest, a Palestinian protest, and caused violence, they would probably fucking die because everybody wants to fucking kill them. So I just wanted to point that out, that Cynic was playing this really, really stupid, retarded game that everybody who actually just watches anything on the news knows that is not the fucking truth.
And the calls for genocide are coming from the pro-Hamas protest, calling from the river to the sea, calling for intifada. We don't want 48, we want all of it. Those are the statements. I've been to many protests that are pro-Israeli. They were never, ever violent. Even the police always came to us and said that our protests are so peaceful, and there are no calls for violence, genocide, killing, or anything. What I don't, him saying that the pro-Palestinian protests are not violent is complete gaslighting. I mean, we saw the videos from the universities and how they vandalized buildings. But again, this is not the topic, but come on, don't gaslight.
Yeah, I'm still recovering. Dude, I hate this because I mean, it's not like I like he's one of my favorite people, but I do like Mikhail, I do like when he's calm, I do like having conversations with him, but he can't help himself. I'm sorry.
Well, it's a one-man show, though, so everybody will dogpile him, and he's the one person that's the opposition throughout most of the time, and everybody wants to kind of jump in and ask him questions and interrupt him, so it's hard.
The problem is also
like Soren or Egyptian or Mako or other people, and you can have conversations with them, and Soren sometimes gets a little bit hyped, because he has a lot of coffee, but at least we can have conversations,
no one is being kicked out because of their opinion, only if they are starting to people by names and stupid or you fucking Jew or all that. You can have your opinion, and I will never kick you out, even if you will be completely disagreement with me. The only reason that I will kick someone is being disruptive.
Daniel has been called stuff, like they have called him names and whatever, and he's cool with it. He laughs about it. He's like me. He doesn't take offense for stuff, but it's just like there's a point when it's unbearable. You can't have a conversation like that.
I'm just curious. I've met many Jewish people actually converted to Islam. What do you call those Jewish people?
They're called pieces of shit. They're mentally ill.
I have never heard of in my life a Jew converting to Islam.
There are some, but I think it's very, very low.
I met people like in real life. Many people.
Yeah, there is a percentage.
So what do you call them?
I don't know. We don't have a name for that. Actually, I never encountered myself one, and maybe you did. So maybe you tell me how you call them. We don't have a name for them.
I call them mouth.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
How conflicting is the Muslim religion versus the Jewish religion?
A lot.
No, they're the same. They're literally the same.
They're not the same.
Slightly more like universe than another. Half of Islam comes from Judaism.
I think the approach to the religion is a bit different. When Islam is about submission and acceptance, I think in Judaism we have a lot of questions and we have a lot of debates and we question everything.
Yeah, because you don't just say
we submit. MC, you're not the focus of the conversation. I'm actually talking to Scooter right now. If you
you're not even religious. Me, I at least read your.
And you're not even Jewish. You don't need to answer every person.
I'm literally more Jewish than you.
I want to hear both of y'all, but not at the same time.
You don't need to interrupt with everybody that is speaking on stage. You're not the focus of the conversation. There are other people here that can also
speak. So the focus is on Judaism, which I know more about than you.
Just mute up. Enough.
No, boy. You're in the West, boy.
Stop. Because I want to hear your opinion, but I also want to hear other people's opinion, and I can't listen to two at once. I'm genuinely invested in this topic.
The thing, McLovin, listen. We're not, Daniel is not, as you want to call it, a Jewish supremacist.
No.
Hold on.
All Jews are Satan worshippers.
No.
Hold on. So, we're not here, this is not a competition to see what religion is best. Someone asked about the differences between the two religions, and then I don't know. People that are Muslim here can answer to the Muslim thing, and people that are just can answer to the Jewish stuff. Like nobody is here trying to impose anything on anyone. We're having a talk.
We just want to learn. I just want to learn. I'm not going to decide.
You encourage to convert all these people.
No, we're not. You're not trying to convert me right now. I'm just trying to understand.
Jesus should be converting these people.
You're not going to convert me. I love Jesus.
No. Am I lying, Isa?
Wow.
Am I lying?
Can I interrupt you, MC? Yes, you mind if others will also speak? For example, with conversion, we don't try to convert other people to our religion, where other religions do. We have a lot of questions, and it's encouraged to ask questions and to debate in Judaism. I will not speak about Islam, but from what I understand, maybe Muslim can say more. For them, it's more about, and I think this is the meaning of Islam, it's about submission to the word of God. It's about accepting. And, of course, Islam and Christianity do try to bring people into their religion. So there is a difference. I think a lot of the things that people blame us for is because they kind of think that we have the same religion as they. Conquering the world, forcing our religion on others, and yada yada yada. That is not. MC, enough.
You do support
mute up. The other people. Grow up, MC. Grow up.
You're
getting serious. You are relying on Hashem.
MC,
raise your hand.
Tell me your opinion after Daniel. I want to hear what Daniel has to say, and then you can rebuttal and you can say he's talking shit, whatever. Stop. Let him finish, and then I want to hear what you have to say, MC. Okay?
So basically, this is how I see the difference between the religion, different religions.
Aya, do you want to give a shot to the Muslim part?
I don't know. I'm not sure what you expect. For me, no.
No, but like, what do you see? What do you see the differences between Judaism and Muslim and Islam?
They get stoned.
In terms of like the differences of approach.
Yeah. Islam has values that have been pretty much defined under an authoritarian caliphate. It's a product that has been modified many times. So I was about to just dive shortly into the history of Islam according to historians, which is very, very interesting. And basically, Islam is a made-up religion. The problem is we don't understand it very well. Muslims themselves, they don't have the place right. Mecca isn't the place. They don't have the person right. Muhammad is behaving like an average human warlord, and they made a prophet out of him way later after he died. He was, he was predicting an apocalypse happening during his lifetime. It didn't happen. So when you talk about Islam, I would say there are three levels of Islam. There is the level of history, what history says about Islam. And there is the level of what progressive Muslims say, and there is a level of what organizations like Hamas, like people that are applying strictly the Islam from the book directly. They don't have another source of morality. They just take it as it is. So every time we have a debate on Islam, we have to precise which one is it, because the true side, the side of the academical people that are working on it, and I'm talking about atheists, Christians, and even Muslims working about to understand the origins of Islam. It's a very, very interesting topic, and it's a Judeo-Nazarian religion that has been hijacked by an Arab nationalist caliphate. And before Islam was all into the Bible and okay with the Torah. But this religion has been cutting ties with the previous scriptures when they wanted to affirm an Arab identity. So
I wanted to ask you before, and I forgot. Do you know, kind of like note or highlight the differences between Arab Islam and, for example, Asian Islam, like in Malaysia and all of these other countries? Do you know the difference between these two?
You have a difference in school of thought. So in Islam, you have in Sunni Islam, which is the major form of Islam, you have 4 schools of thought. And in those countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, you have a certain school of thought and jurisprudence that has small differences. And in fact, the Hanbali school, which is very popular here, introduced excision, FGM there, where there was not before. So you have like small differences like that. And the mindset, the mentality of the Asian people is different. And they also adapted Islam to their older functioning, older mindset. So it's even about the divorce, for example, if you divorce according to Islam in Indonesia, it's not exactly the same thing if you divorce in North Africa. It's slightly better.
And what are the resemblance between Judaism and Islam? Can you name a few of them? Because to me, they look the same. They eat halal, they eat kosher. They fast, both religions fast. They practice fasting and almsgiving. Donation is core principle of both religions. They don't eat pork. I can name many similarities between these two. But the religious leaders got long beard. Come on.
Like
believe in one God.
You get 2 languages like Arabic and Hebrew. Yeah, let me finish. When you take Arabic and Hebrew, you see similarities, but you don't say it's the same language, right? So it's the same thing with Islam and Judaism. Islam, as I said before, is a Judeo-Nazarian religion that has been then transformed when the caliphate started. They modified it. So when you talk about the proto-Islam, the Islam that Muhammad has had, supposedly, according to history, it's very different from what we have nowadays. So, but they share a very common ground with the Jewish tradition, and they don't acknowledge the rabbinical form of Judaism. So there are deep differences. In fact, if I could define the religion of Muhammad, the Judeo-Nazarian cult, it had Jewish influences, but they were against the Talmud, for example. And what was supposed to, and this was the Jewish component of the Judeo-Nazarian people. There were Jewish people among them. Their difference was that they accepted Jesus. So that's why you have Jesus, such a very important figure in Islam.
But they believe in the prophet, not in the God.
But they deny the Trinity, exactly. This is how the Judeo-Nazarian religion was born. And then the Judeo-Nazarian needed people to raise an army. When Muhammad decided to become a warlord in the second part of the Quran, he needed people. So it took him a lot of years to have enough people behind him to wage wars. And that's because he made a compromise with pagans and Christians to tell them, my religion is accepting Jesus but denying the Trinity. It's not far from yours. So he had to compromise to have people in them. And they mostly hired Persians and Arabs. And later, when he died, and there was a lot of power and territories involved, and people wanted to keep this religion going, even though he was wrong about the apocalypse and he died, and a lot of people wanted to leave the religion, then they started to fabricate Islam and Muslim. These words didn't exist.
What is the biggest, the greatest sin in Islam? Do you know that? Number one primary sin in Islam? Do you know what that is? It is called shirk. Shirk means if you believe in more than one God. So that's not appeasing the Christians. It's just a core value of Islam. You're not supposed to believe in more than one God.
Yeah, the Trinity is... They combined... The Trinity is not more than one God. It's the exact same one God, just represented in three different forms.
I know, but the Jews...
That's not the Trinity either.
No. Jews and Muslims don't believe in that interpretation.
No, Jews have the Trinity in their Talmud. I can give you the passages. At least 4 references to it in the Zohar.
It's not the holy book. We go back.
Yeah, I know. The Talmud is a book of Satan, but even the book of Satan has some correct things in there.
Oh my God.
You know what? Just to let Lavin speak, and I think
there are 4 references to the Trinity in the Zohar at a minimum. There are also some mentioned
If you allow me, good morning, everybody. If you allow me, just I have maybe a few minutes and go, because I've heard if any Muslim can just, I'm a Muslim, greeting for everybody, and I have to differentiate between a Muslim and Islam, a Jew and Judaism, the Christian and Christianity. Religions aren't a national thing, it's a belief. So if you want to ask about Islam, what I believe is, as Muslim, which means in English submissive, is submissive to the Jew is supposed to be submissive to Judaism. The Christian supposed to be submissive to Christianity, and so on. So it's a figure of speech, or literally, it's a Muslim in Arabic, which is okay. So the difference between Muslim and Arab, that Islam is not only for Arab, same as Christianity is not only for Jew. Jesus was a Jew. What happened in the religion is the normal process of practicing. Well, the religion is a belief and practicing. That's two main things in the religion. So when Moses came with the Judaism, there was a practice, there was a Sharia law, which is the law of Moses, or law of Lord, or so on. When Jesus came, he didn't defer the Sharia of Moses, but the widespread of the belief extended beyond the Jewish people. Islam came for everybody. Actually, the three main religions have the same principle, which is one God. You as a Jew, you don't know, you don't mention the name, you don't, whatever. The Christians say Muslims, there is only one God. That's perfect. Come to the practice.
Yeah, Jude, I don't know if you're trying to confuse us more or to throw some clarification, but you're just trying to put in the blender all the three religions and just pressing the button and not caring what happens.
He's proselytizing.
Let's talk. I'm talking.
And I left accidentally.
When they are talking historically, when Judaism came from the Lord to Moses.
Okay, I'm curious about one of the things that you say, and I want Yaakov with clarification. What does he exactly mean when he says that Moses brought in Sharia law? Can you please help me understand that? It's confusing to me. No, I said Yaakov.
Sorry?
I said Yaakov. If he can explain, if he agrees with that statement.
Well, not the way, look, the Quran incorporates many concepts in the Torah and views the Torah as a gift from God and should be followed, but it was corrupted by the Jews. That, we believe it was the word of God, not Sharia law. It was the 613 commandments that we got from God. We did not call it Sharia. Let's make that very clear.
And Sharia couldn't exist. It couldn't exist at that time.
Well, Sharia is an Arabic name. Excuse me. Sharia is an Arabic name, same as Muslim.
No.
Sharia just means law. It means like Deuteronomy.
The reliance of the traveler couldn't be based on previous scripture. They had to be based on hadith and sunnah of Muhammad.
I understand.
Don't tell me that Sharia was there before. It's impossible. No.
The meaning of the word.
We're not going to play on words right now.
No. That's the meaning. Excuse me. The meaning of Muslim, I said submissive, which is applied for every follower of any religion. They're supposed to be submissive too. But that's in Arabic. Muslim means submissive. Sharia in Arabic means the law.
Yeah, but you don't use these terms out of context, dude, because that is just misinformed.
No. The thing is that the term Sharia is applied to like a Western law code. Like you can say Shariat America. Like the American law code is the Sharia of America. That's just a word in Arabic. That's what he means.
What about Salaha?
The Sharia of Moses, right? He means basically Deuteronomy, Leviticus, the law.
If you allow me, just because this is my last thing I can say, please let's go back to the meanings of the word. So I have a problem here when they say intifada, which is uprising. It's uprising. For example, when they say jihad, which was a very good word due to, when it was in Afghanistan. Just a minute, it's struggling. So if I can say I struggled all my life studying medicine, and this I had a jihad in my life. So you took some words and label it as wow, it's horrible. But it's in my language. It's the same as when I say something.
When you blow up a building.
No, dude. All he's saying is my jihad.
When I blow up the building, it might be engineering things to demolish this building to build the road. What do you mean by
the story of Samson in the Bible. Remember the story of Samson?
Tell me in your language, please. Just a minute, I'll answer. Tell me in your language, what does it mean when you just a minute, when you demolish a Palestinian house? What do you name it?
Sorry, Omar?
When you demolish a Palestinian house.
It's a good point, and let's look at the Bible where that happened. Remember when Samson destroyed the pillars and killed all the Philistines right in the house by demolishing it? What do you think that was?
Look who is all my favorites on this
Samson's loyal to God. Samson's loyal to God.
Shalom, Habibis. Shalom.
Okay, so Omar, so my question for you, Omar, was you were talking about how jihad is just like you're applying for a medical degree and it's difficult. But is that the same thing as strapping a bomb to you and like blowing up a building?
Well, okay. Just a minute.
That's how you get the degree. That's how you get the actual degree.
Allow me to answer you. Me to answer you. Well, struggle is a struggle. Struggle in studying, struggle in the war, struggle, whatever struggle is, you can put it in its correct place.
We understand.
Let me finish.
No. You've been saying the same thing. We understand. The base root of the word means struggle, but it has been hijacked. No pun intended. It's been hijacked to mean something completely different.
No, you took it like that because let me finish.
The funny thing, I'll tell you the funny thing is the word shahada sounds very similar to the word jihad.
Let me answer.
Oh my God, I'm gonna throw every single person in this room, I'm gonna throw them to the goo. Oh my God. Okay, Yaakov, please.
I've been questioned.
On the Lord's day.
Look, I cannot argue over language that has been hijacked.
Okay, I'll answer this. Now, there is hadith from Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he came back of war and came back to the civilian life. He said, we came from the jihad, the small jihad, to the big jihad. So, in Arabic, if you want to understand the word, you understand it in the text of Arabic text. So, it's as I mentioned, it's jihad when I'm studying, it's jihad when I'm working for my kids, to put food on my kids' table. It's jihad, okay? So that's it. So take it in Arabic language, take it in Arabic context. When it is in war, it's also jihad. But if you hijack the word and put it, just label it in some way, it's wrong.
Like the word terrorist. Fine, let's just move on, because the people hijacking the word are not only Westerners, okay? Let's move on. It's like the word genocide. The word changes from the 17th to the 21st century, okay? It's been, how many 1,400 years words change with their meaning, okay? Let's move on. Apartheid, that word has changed.
It just sounds like y'all need more words for because there needs to be a difference between getting a medical degree and blowing up a building.
I do too, but he said the same thing 4 times. Well, considering that they're not under the
he's trying to explain Islam or Islam. Not explain Islam.
If you want to ask me before I leave.
Yeah, but he's trying to accommodate from a neutral perspective, and trying to get everyone on the same page. I appreciate your effort, Omar, but
it's trying to downplay.
Okay, if I have to say last word, if I have to say last word, the jihad, and then I will stuck to this word. The jihad, it was a very good word. Sylvester Stallone Hollywood made a big movie, and Sylvester Stallone was called
Rambo.
Jihadi. Yes, he was a big jihadi when jihad was good for the Western. But when jihad became back to Western,
in Hollywood, he let anything. That's a strategic thing.
Was Sylvester Stallone Palestinian?
Yeah. Was that a true story? Was that a true story or something?
Well, he was jihadi.
Was a Rambo story?
No, he talked about.
No. They were hailing the jihadi
in that movie.
They were hailing the jihadi because jihadi stood by the side of the West against Soviet. So it was a good thing.
They were talking about the Mujahideen, not jihadis, okay? They were talking about the
Mujahideen
who were fighting against the Russians. Let's be clear, okay?
Against what? Against what?
The Russians.
Is it jihadi against Russian and not jihadi against, for example, Israeli? They are the same. But yes, here.
You brought up Rambo. Let's be clear. The Rambo character was somebody who was fighting against the Russian alongside the Mujahideen, okay? The Russians invaded in 1979, okay? Let's be clear on facts.
Okay, and the Mujahideen were very good and they were accepted all over the world, Western world, and then became a terrorist. They are the same people.
We agree, yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, you're right. But fighting for fighting with the Soviet Union, then they rebrand as Al Qaeda. He's right. They rebrand themselves.
No, I wish that more Muslims were like Omar.
But jihad means a struggle with your own ego. That's what it means. If you're done with that estate, then
don't downplay the word jihad. No, come on, no, it's not. We know very well what jihad is. It means holy war. It means holy war.
The last word, which is really make terrible things in the world, Allahu Akbar. As a practicing Muslim, I say Allahu Akbar more than 100 times a day in my prayers. Allahu Akbar, yes, Allah, when I pray, I say it more than 100 times a day. My prayers, I say 100 times Allahu Akbar. So I'm embarrassed because I'm saying Allahu Akbar.
Well, before you throw a grenade or shoot a gun or perhaps have an RPG aimed at somebody, the minute you press the button, what is the thing you hear them say? Oh, Allahu Akbar. There you go.
Yes, they say Allahu Akbar before doing anything.
You're racist. Public service announcement.
Amar, can you explain what Dar al-Harb is? Dar al-Harb.
Good question.
Okay. I am not that scientist.
Liar is a liar. It means the land of war.
Just a minute, okay. No.
It's the land of peace.
Well, you actually translated. But let me ask you one question. And we have now struggle, which is the word.
Can you pause for a second? I just got a message from Egyptians. He'd like to join the room. I can't promise it, but if someone has him blocked, please unblock him so he can join.
Okay, it has to be one of the moderators. Who has him blocked?
It's not me. I talk to him all the time. He may have a different point of view, but he's very deferential.
I don't have him blocked.
And then I would like Omar to answer my question.
Yes,
I'm not blocking him. I don't think I is.
Soon.
Noon, are you blocking him?
Probably. Hang on 1 second. Let me know.
Probably.
Thank you. Okay, move on. Sorry, Eitan.
All right, either Omar or Soren answer me, please.
So you asked about Dar al-Harb. I'll
Put
tell
the
you what
at
it
in the
is.
chat. Put the at in the chat. Now I'm blocking.
Dar al-Harb, it's the land of war. So Gaza is the land of war for both Israeli and Palestinians, right?
Okay, tell him to try to come in, and I'll bring Noon back up.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't Dar al-Harb any area that's not Dar al-Islam?
Well, these are, we call the scientists as fuqaha. And according to the time, we have to put things in time. So, for example, I'm practicing Islam. So, it doesn't mean that I have to wear the same as Muhammad, peace be upon him, or Moses, or Jesus, which they're wearing the same. Now, with these days, terminology and definitions, things are changing. So we are not changing every day the words. I can understand that you grasp a word of Dar al-Harb, which is any other land than the Muslim land, which is okay. You can tell me who is the Muslim land? Where is the Muslim land nowadays? There is no Muslim land.
No. Let's make the distinction. Dar al-Islam is the area that submitted, that surrendered, and Dar al-Harb is that who yet has to. And officially.
So I am a Muslim. Okay, so I'm a Muslim living in the West. So
why are you not answering me that Dar al-Harb means that you are at war with all the world that is not Islamic? Because that is exactly what Dar al-Harb is. Dar al-Harb is.
So you want me to answer? So you want me to answer?
Is it not true? Just tell me if that is not true.
So you want me to answer the same way that you want?
No, you answered already. Give me the answer of what the
I'm telling you.
You educated us.
Okay, I made you back up.
You know the answer to the question, Eitan, right?
I'm not telling him what it is. I would just like him to clarify for me if that's what it is or not. If it means.
No, it's not the way that you understand it. Thank you.
Well, then explain it. Explain what how it means.
It was there by then when there was a Muslim states. And non-Muslim Muslim states.
That's not true.
Okay, it's not true. So this is my answer. You can take it or leave it. Thank you.
I'm not, again, I just want to clarify.
Hey, Khan, ask Aya, you're a native Arabic speaker, right?
Yes, I will. You asking me or somebody else?
Aya is.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So somebody else field the question.
All right.
Okay.
The question once again, I need to hear from Omar. So Islam is not in fact at war with any area that is not Islamic, is what you're saying.
Well, let me explain it in my words.
Right.
And if you can understand it or not. Okay, that's fine. So, Syria is a Muslim state? Yes?
Yeah.
No. Okay, that's fine. What's going on there in Syria, where there is a president killing his people, and there are some mujahideen, well, I'm using these words to understand what I want to say exactly. Some mujahideen is going there in the Syria, which is supposed to be, according to you, is a Darul Islam, and they fight there against the dictator. So is it Dar Islam or Dar Harb? I don't know. You tell me, please.
No, I'm asking. I'm not telling you.
No. Tell me if you understood what I want to say.
My understanding with you is
so
that
Syria is a Muslim state. Syria is a Muslim state, but it's for some people it's Darul Harb.
Where is the word there? With the question.
All right. Okay. All right. You know, Iceland, Omar, is that the Dar Islam or Dar Al Harb, and does it have to be either one? Or
there is no Dar Harb for the Muslim because there is no Muslim. Okay, we're gonna put it like this. The last Muslim state was Ottoman Empire. There was a Khalifa. There was the guidance of the Muslim, or the leaders of the Muslim. Tell me who is the Khalifa now to decide who is Dar Islam and Dar Harb?
Right.
There is no. So there is no distinction between Dar Islam, Dar Harb, as you mentioned. There is no Islamic war against anything Islamic. Okay. But there is a war in Syria among Syrians. There is a war in Yemen among Yemeni. There is Daesh, ISIS. Just a minute. There is ISIS who claim that they are Muslims. And they only kill Muslims. They didn't kill an Israeli. They didn't kill Christians. They are killing Muslims.
Well, tell that to Kurds in northern Iraq.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Anybody else want to answer this? Did you say I wanted to answer?
You're not happy with my answer?
I can answer for her, but
I did not say I was happy or not happy. I just want to get all the opinions.
So you want the answer which is in your mind? Sorry, I can't give it.
Omar, listen to me good. Listen to me. I did not say one thing or the other. You were putting words in my mouth, which I did not say. You know, you may have some presupposition that I do not like this or that or the other thing. I have not brought that out in my conversation with you. And you know that. So all I'm asking once again, I've heard your opinion. I would like to hear someone else's opinion on what the subject is.
And thank you for this time. Actually, I have to leave. Thank you very much. I'm going to follow this. This is the house or something?
Yeah.
I'm going to follow and be honored to be with you as
very nice.
much as I can. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to go to Dar al-Okil, which means the area of food.
All right,
anyway.
You framed your question pretty much well, by the way.
I beg your pardon?
You framed your question. I mean, that's what you did, pretty much.
I framed my question, Mr. Soren? I framed the question?
Yes, you did, yeah.
The leading question.
What did I frame in my question? I asked the question, what is the distinction between one and the other? How did I do
that? Well,
he
gave you the answer, and then you pretended that wasn't the answer you were looking for.
I didn't pretend because he didn't clarify, he wasn't speaking clearly.
Well, I think he said pretty much well. He eloquently said there's no Khalifa, there's no Islamic State, there's no...
That's not true.
I mean,
okay, now you see, Soren, you have someone disagreeing, and that's why I want another opinion.
Okay.
Yes,
we're done with the topic.
I'm not familiar with the 2 Jews, 3 opinions joke. This is what's going on. Okay, go ahead.
Answering a question with a question. I want to welcome Egyptian to the stage.
Welcome. Thank you, Yaakov. Hello there, Fumaro. It's good to see you.
Apparently, you were blocked Egyptian by one of the moderators.
No, I didn't block him.
We made it work. Okay, Soren, that's not helpful. We made it so he could come up on stage, right?
Thank you.
Focus on the positive.
That was messy, Soren.
All right, someone was going to continue and answer.
Okay, sure.
Hold on, Soren was trying to duck somebody.
Okay, can I ask the question?
Is someone going to answer my question?
None said she could take a shot at it.
So Dar al-Harb is defined as the land of war, in my understanding. And before people say, "Oh, you're not a native Arabic speaker," 85% of the Islamic world does not speak Arabic. So the majority of the Islamic world is not really Muslim. It's because I know there might be an Arab that might pop up that might say invalidate what I'm trying to say. Anyways, so Dar al-Harb, when I filed, was any land where there was non-Muslims. So America, the entire Western world, I was taught was the land of war. So I don't know what this guy is saying. Maybe he's in Egypt. I don't know. If you look up Al Qaeda,
Muslim majority or Muslims?
No, so Muslim land. So
define Muslim land.
That's the thing about these. These definitions are vague intentionally, so they can switch it up on you. So, for example, you could be in a Muslim country and they can decide, they can wage a jihad on you. So it is vague and unintentional. And you got to think about it to begin with. Where are Muslim lands to begin with? I mean, Saudi Arabia, Islam started in modern day Saudi Arabia. It's now in China. It's all around the world right now, in random places. So when you say the land of Islam, what are you talking about? The conquered lands? And then, so that's the definition.
So let me understand once again. Dar al-Harb, which literally means Dar means the area or the zone or the area or the region.
The area where you could, the land of war. So there's a land of peace.
War.
Yeah, the land of peace. So
and that is the diametrically opposed term to the word Dar al-Islam. That
exactly.
One implies the other, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Mr. Soren, do you have anything to say about this? Or my delivery of the question? You're going to give me a grade now on how I asked her? Do you understand that we are at war, with Islam because we are not Islamic? That the Islam is at war with anybody who does not submit to their belief, Mr. Soren? Do you want to answer me now?
Well, that's your interpretation. I don't really think so. Like a Muslim
it's not my interpretation. It was one who speaks fluent Arabic and who understands Islam in depth. And if I will ask 99 other people, they will say the same thing that you said.
Fair enough. I don't really think that I can change your mind because I don't think you
it's not my mind, Soren. Why do you have to twist it all the time? Because I'm Jewish? What is your fucking problem? She just said what Dar al-Islam is. You, by my friend, I don't know where you live, but you are probably in Dar al-Harb. Yet you do not oppose this. Curiously enough, you do not oppose that these people are declaring war on you.
I don't really think anyone declared war on you. Particularly you, Eitan. I don't really think.
Sitting in Israel, nobody just declared war on me. What are you talking about?
Missiles raining down on Israel.
Oh, you're talking about occupations and the resistance of
theological war.
That's a different question.
Soren, there's a theological war on anybody that is not Islamic. What do you have to comment about?
You're conflating two different things. The Palestinians
are not complaining. You were just told. It's got nothing to do with Islam. I mean, they're occupied. They've got the right to resist.
Yeah, that's what happens when you lose the war.
Wait a minute. Yaakov, 1 second here. Yes, sorry. How is the distinction of any area that is not an Islamic area, an area of war, not has to do with Islam? Explain this one.
Very first suicide bomber in occupied Palestine was a Christian woman. So it's got nothing to do with Islam.
Again, let's go with the math. Anything that's not X is Y. Okay? Anything that's not X is Islamic is Y, an area that must be conquered. So do you not understand this concept, Soren?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Me neither.
Eitan, are you
we have Egyptian here. Maybe Egyptian can explain what does that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get your point, so please help me. Your point here, if I'm not mistaken, that every trouble, every war in humankind is based on Islamic reasons? Is that
again? You're putting words in my mouth.
I'm asking you. I didn't put anything. This is what I got. So please correct me if I'm wrong.
You can explain to me without correcting anybody. Just explain to me what the term Dar al-Harb means. What does it mean?
Dar al-Harb, lexically, translation is the home of war.
Okay.
Dar al-Harb.
Yes. Yeah. And who are you at war with? What is this area that's at war?
What is Dar al-Harb? Where did you get this from?
I got it from a book about Islam. But I heard
war cabinet in Israel. So what is it related to Islam or something?
No, I'm asking you once again. We will talk about Judaism in a minute, but you'll explain to me right now, in Islamic theology, my understanding is, and you can correct me, is that there's Dar al-Islam, which means the area that has submitted, and Dar al-Harb, the area which has yet to be Islamicized. Okay, that is my understanding. Now, is this correct or is this incorrect? Because it's math, okay? You know math, all that is X is not Y, all that is Y is not X. What is the problem here with Logic 101 people? And I need to know, what does the word Dar al-Harb, does it mean what I think it means? I said think. Does it mean that any area that has not been under Islamic rule as yet is at war with Islam, okay, jihad, or what you call it? Is that what that word means or not? Theologically, what is going on? Explain the Islamic theology to me for non-Muslims.
I'm sorry, Ethan, but I don't know where you get this Dar al-Harb or home of war from. What is its history? Who created this term? I don't know. So how you expect me to tell you something I know nothing about, from something you didn't mention where you came it from, who said it, why he said it?
I went into an Islamic room once, and this lady named Rose, who's Ask a Muslim, recommended this silly book called Islam for Dummies. But I know this term. I can look it up. We can look it up in Google. Dar al-Harb. What is the problem? You want me to look it up right now? Here, I'll look it up and I'll send it in the chat. What does Dar al-Harb mean?
Okay, I will do that too. So at that time, we will have something common to have a communication. Okay, I will Google it now.
I'm not reading in. I just want an explanation because it's
okay. This is not Dar al-Harb. It's Dar al-Harb, by the way. Harb means war in Arabic. It's not Harb. Just to let you know, since you're here.
What is Harb? I know what Harb is because it's also related to the Hebrew word Chereb, and in all Semitic languages has this word Harb. But yes, sorry, Harb means war. It means war. If you didn't understand that, but it is.
No, because I think you sounded like Harb, but I didn't know what it means. It's Harb.
Now you want to correct my accent, okay?
Harb.
Oh yeah. Please, well, let's be quiet. Dar al-Harb, divisions of the world in Islam and in Wikipedia. Territory, Dar al-Harb, territory of war, denoting.
What difference makes Dar Islamic?
Denoting non-Islamic lands. Let me read. Non-Islamic lands where Islamic law does not prevail yet. Okay, Muslims are imposed to spread the rightful law of the sovereignty through jihad by initiating war and therefore transferring the regions of Dar al-Harb into Dar al-Islam. With these jihadic wars, Muslims are imposed to convert, subject, or eliminate the non-Muslim, whatever needed in order to establish Islamic sovereignty. This here is in Wikipedia.
Yeah, that's right. That's good Wikipedia. What I can get out of this? I mean, what do you want to reach?
Basically, he's promoting ISIS. That's otherwise.
Yeah. Because as you've said and Wikipedia and things, so ISIS has the right to fight the Muslim countries or Arabic countries. So yes. No. Wikipedia said that. If you take this connotation that way, so yes, they are right. That's what you are aiming for. It's totally wrong.
I mean, Daesh agree with you too, by the way. Al-Qaeda, Daesh, they both agree with your interpretation, Eitan. So you guys have a lot in common.
It's not my interpretation because I am not Islamic and I'm not the one who's going to pick up.
And that explains a lot why Daesh did not even shoot one bullet toward Israel, and it was actually
Let me tell you one more thing, excuse me. The ISIS leader in Libya, he was a Mossad agent. He wasn't a Muslim at all, but he was imam and leading the people to pray and actually take them to the ISIS way. And he wasn't a Muslim, he was a Mossad. So that's how actually they disrupt the Muslim thinking. And now you are pressing in Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb. You want to make the say, well, I am a Muslim, I do not recognize Dar al-Islam, Dar al-Harb. I'm a normal
You are not at war with the rest of the non-Muslim world, is what you're saying.
That's exactly, yes.
All right, that's you.
Yes.
Okay, fine. That's
I'm not ISIS. Thank you, I'm not ISIS.
Eitan, can we move on? Have we settled this, or is it still open?
No, so long as Mr. Omar is misleading us into thinking that it's an intra-Islamic problem, no, it's wrong. Because once again, I'm going until I can be corrected. in the sense that we are at war with all the let me finish, please. We are at war with all non-Muslim peoples, period.
Who said that?
Okay?
Who said that?
I just read it from Wikipedia.
No, tell me the person who said that. Muhammad said that.
The author, find the author and I'll supply it, but why
No,
can't
I'm saying something. Give me the person who said that.
The only group who said that was Daesh, and Daesh, we now, evidence is already out there, was working with the Zionists. So the only people
tell me
who
the
believed
person,
that shit was Daesh.
The Muslims guys, maybe take responsibility for your own shit and not naming Jews for everything. The Daesh was separated in Israel.
Think about Jews.
Daesh was separated in Israel, and whether says it everywhere in Israel.
Just a minute. Control your room. Just a minute. I do not say anything about Jews. I'm talking about Mossad, which is
Jews. So on where says that blaming ISIS for the Jews again. ISIS is Islamic State, okay? It has nothing to do with us. Take responsibility for your own radical people in your religion.
As a Muslim,
why did you help them?
As a Muslim, I want to know who is the Muslim Imam said the Darul Islam, as you read, and as ISIS is applying. Please tell me
ISIS is Islamic.
Who said that?
Daniel,
it is
they say
it's not Islamic.
Hold on.
They say
yes. Let me ask you.
Hamas is Islamic.
Let me ask you this.
Everything their name.
Daniel, let me ask you this, please. Do you believe that any Islamic, or it calls itself as Islamic group, is it necessary to really be representative of the real Islam?
No, but I will tell you what is the problem that I have.
Thank you.
No, not thank you. I'm asking why out of 16 million Jews, we can find a few Jews, token Jews that every pro-Hamas demonstration has that says not in our name against the genocide of the Palestinians. But out of 2 billion, we couldn't find even 100 that will go on the streets of London and will say what Hamas did is not Islam, what ISIS is doing is not Islam. Why are you guys silent? Why are you letting this happen?
What are you talking about?
So when I was talking to Egyptian, I'm talking to Egyptian right now.
And he already told you that we already find them.
I don't see any demonstration in the West against saying not in our name.
Even if you fight them, it's not very successful.
I'm sorry, I cannot really tell you. Hold on, please. I cannot really talk about the American people. They have their own people. About any other country, let's say Egypt, for example. Egypt already fought the extremist Muslims who belong to Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes, because
and the Muslim Brotherhood themselves.
Yes, because they.
How do you say that we do nothing, and we don't do that?
No, I didn't. No, I'm saying that you are not saying this is not Islam. You are fighting them. Yes, there are many like Muslims that are killing each other. Okay.
Yes, we do
something that is happening.
We do that. We already say that they are not real Muslims.
Is Hamas real Islam? Is Hamas real Islam?
Is Hamas really Islam?
Yeah, the way that they behave and what they do.
I don't. Somehow I don't think so, because so many things they do, I don't accept this.
Exactly, and I'm trying to understand how come. So my question is, how, out of 2 billion, how come there is not even 100 Muslims that will go on the street and say not in our name? This is not Islam. This is my question. No one is saying this. Egyptian.
That is specialized in fighting the radical Islam made by Muslims on an international level.
Where is Hamas? Are they in Egypt?
They are in many places. There was also in Europe.
The Muslim.
I'm talking about. When I said 2 billion, I didn't. Is there 2 billion Muslims in Egypt? No, there are 2 billion Muslims all around the world. I'm asking why there's not 100 people that are going on a demonstration in the West, where there are actual demonstrations, and saying not in our name. This is my question. If this is not Islam.
30th of July, which is the anniversary is very soon. Egypt already made demonstration and falls the regime of Muslim Brotherhood down.
We're talking about two different things. I'm saying
about Hamas. Talking about
Hamas is a violent. Hamas is
just a minute.
Omar, we're having a conversation here. Please don't interrupt.
Yeah.
Don't
interrupt.
So my point here, Hamas is the military army or the military militias for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt.
They have Islam in their name.
Demonstrated against them.
But it's not like a regular army. They are working on behalf of Islam. They have Islam in their name.
It's not Islam, Daniel.
Egyptian, again, it's not my role to say they are not Islam. I'm asking, if you are saying they are not Islam, I'm asking a very simple question. Why, out of 2 billion Muslims in the world, why I didn't see even one demonstration in the West saying not in our name? This is not Islam.
It happened after 9/11. A lot of protests after 9/11, not on our name. But you
Actually,
see that.
The first newspaper ad came out this week from the Council of Muslim Relations. I'm going to butcher the name, CCMC.
CARE?
Not CARE, in Canada. They took out a full-page ad in the Post, which is a conservative newspaper, and it essentially said not in our name. First one I've noticed.
When now?
It was reported. I'll put a link. I'll put it in the jumbotron. It was reported this week. I think it happened a couple days ago.
I think the problem is that we don't hear enough voices from the Islamic world.
Maybe you don't want to hear that, Daniel. That's all. Maybe not.
So show me. Sorry if I missed the demonstration. Show me.
Daniel, please check this date.
It's not about me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm asking about demonstrations since October 7th until now. Demonstrations of Muslims saying not in our name.
Because
did it happen? If so, if it happened, then show me.
Overpassed that when you kill 35,000 people, 40,000 people. I mean, come on.
So it is Islam. But I'm not talking. We're not talking about now Gaza. We're talking about Islam and about radical Islam. And if radical Islam is not part of Islam, I'm asking a very simple question: Why is the Muslim community silent about it?
You're not silent.
I'm sorry, Daniel. I'm sorry. You really asked a very strange question, because not doing a demonstration doesn't mean that we accept that.
I think that because I think that if you think that
let me say this, please. We didn't make any demonstration against Israel, but it is still very clear that we refuse what the Israeli government is doing against the Palestinians.
You didn't do any demonstration against Egyptian. You didn't do any demonstration against Israel. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Are you serious?
7th of October in Egypt? No.
I'm not talking about Egypt. I'm talking about the Muslim community worldwide.
The Muslim community is different from it's separated to countries.
I understand. So out of the 2 billion Muslims all over the world, why wasn't there one demonstration of 100 Muslims saying not in our name? That is the question.
Egyptian, Daniel, can I ask Egyptian a question,
Take a look at the
please?
top, Daniel.
Go ahead, Lee, ask him. Egyptian, what Daniel is asking asking about the majority, the mainstream. First of all, I'm sorry, but I have to correct some information you just claimed now. Egypt actually did a demonstration against the attack of Israel on the 10th and the 11th of October. It was all over the streets. It was orchestrated by the government for a couple of days, and then they stopped. So there was no demonstration against the 7th of October, but there were demonstrations against what the Israel war or like retaliation that happened just a couple of days after, even before, really long before any civilian numbers comes out, before killing even 1,000 people over there. So that happened. So just I want to put that as a correction for the facts.
Again, please. It's okay if you correct me. It's okay. Again, please. You say that Egypt there was a demonstration in Egypt. When and where?
Yes. You want to know exactly where it happened? It happened
when
Salah Salam Street, and it happened in Manassa, and it happened in different areas. I can actually send you pictures.
It's okay. Well, I believe you. But why again, please? What was the demonstration for?
I see also on the 29th of January there was a demonstration in Egypt against supporting Hamas and against Israel. No, just showing that there were, and in Cairo also in all.
he